Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got a question, and we're gonna deal with a little bit of history today. We're gonna deal with a little bit of history today, and I know that you all are ready for this history topic we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about the history system and where something came from. But before we get into all that, I got to say good morning. This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Morning, Glow fam.
Man, Leonard, I need to know something, man, because they say today is the day where all the bills that have to pass is going to pass, have to go across the desk today. So what is really going on?
Well, really, people will agree to pass the bill, but then you have to go in and do that little bit of fine tuning and everything
Mm-hmm.
to make sure things work, especially like with this stimulus package and these things like that. So you have to go back and forth to make sure the bills are correct before they're actually put into law. They have to be correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that all that little editing and typing things up has to be done to go back to the house to make sure it's the same way it is from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then things haven't changed too drastically or folks trying to slip things in. So that's
Okay.
what they'll do. But the bill is passed.
Okay, so some of these bills that's passing now, there's opposition to a lot of these bills is possibly going to be passed today, though, right?
Yeah, there are some bills that will have to go back for more discussion, maybe if they don't get the votes. But
Mm-hmm.
now you have to remember, it's usually they're going to get the votes.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do you have people do a whole bunch of work to get a bill defeated. So a lot of times they try to have a certain amount of votes accounted for before they actually vote for it on the House, on the floor. And from the House, it'll go to the Senate. And the Senate would have to agree with whatever bills, in the House. Or if they went to the Senate and for some reason the Senate say, you can go back and rework this one. There's some things that we can do to make this one better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It could be delayed for a particular reason.
Okay.
No one wants their bill to go up for a vote and be defeated.
Mm-hmm.
So they try to do what they can to make sure that they have the support first.
Okay.
So you're not too disappointed,
Got you. And there is some disappointment there. We got another caller from the 803 area code. 803, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, this is Sherelle.
Good morning, Sherelle. How you doing this morning?
Wonderful.
Good deal. Good to have you, sister. Good to have you. We're starting off talking about the bills, and today is the day that all these bills that they've written and gotten to this point. This is the day they have to go. Leonard was saying they have to revamp it and do the things they have to do so they can make it go further. Now, some of these bills about the voting. Sherelle, what do you think about some of these voting bills that they're trying to pass?
I don't think nothing of it. I, honestly, I didn't even look at the voting bills that they're trying to pass. Honestly,
Okay.
I don't. I have read the entire 5,000-page bill, and I don't know. I set it down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's not for Americans. I can
Exactly.
that, but I thought the topic today was child support.
It is. We usually start off. Yeah, it is. What we usually do is I jump into another little topic, get everything, clear the dust out a little bit, and then we'll jump into the topic. But if you want to talk about that, we'll jump right into that thing. We could jump right into it because I know both of y'all are definitely up on it. So what we're talking about, Leonard, is the history of child support. The history of child support. And why was it even necessary? Why was it even necessary? Now we know, but like I say, for the sake of conversation, communication that we're gonna have over the airwaves, we want to educate the people and let them know exactly what it is. So, Sherelle, what do you think about the history of child support?
Oh, I'm not for. I'm for child support, but I'm not for child support. So the history of it is null and void to me. But I'm not for it, but I get it to an
Mhm.
extent,
Mhm.
you know, but I'm not for it. I don't necessarily, I don't know. I honestly think child support was a way to kind of turn the women against the men almost.
Mhm.
That's how I think. That's how I always felt about it. But because I feel like you can't force a man or a woman to do something that they know they're supposed to do if they choose not to do it. You can't force them to do it. You
Mhm.
know, child support, you don't pay, you go to jail.
Mhm.
When they're in jail, they still not paying.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think that was just a way to. I think I don't. I'm not. I'm not for it, but I get it to an extent. So I'm not for it, but it's like I'm not against it either. I
Mhm.
can't explain it, but I don't. That's not the first thing that I'll tell a woman or a man to do. Is
Mhm.
or go put him or her on child support.
Okay.
That's not the first thing.
Do
But
you do you understand why there was a need for it?
I understand. Um, I understand a little bit of it, yeah.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you do have, but when you lay down with somebody, you got to understand that sometimes you might be laying down with somebody who's not going to do what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's a way to force. I don't know. I think that was a way to force division because if you pay attention, most people that's on child support really don't get along with the mother or the father that's paying the
Mhm.
money to child support.
Mhm.
Really,
Okay.
you know. I know when for a while ago when my children had Medicaid, they pretty much you had to put them on child support.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
agree with it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely took mine off.
Mhm.
You don't have to have Medicaid, but we'll pay for you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we'll pay for your stuff. But I don't think that's I get it, but I'm not for it. I'm not 100% pro child support
Okay.
at all.
And I'm looking at the history. I'm doing some research myself. I actually I did this over the weekend so I can be abreast of as what was going on. It said that child support started in 1975 with under President Gerald Ford, and that's where it started. It
Mhm.
said a child of divorce whose father failed to pay court ordered child support, and it goes into the separation of how this laid out and that's supposed to be laid out. But Leonard, what do you say about that, man? Do you understand? We're talking about the history of child support. But do you understand why there was a need for child support?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100% support child support.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't something that came up in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
Child support should be innate in a human being
Mm-hmm.
to take care of the children that you make. That's child support.
What they're
Now, from
talking
a
what
legal standpoint,
Yeah, from the legal standpoint, yeah, that's what they're talking about. It started in the system that they have today started in 1975. I understand what you're saying though. It should, to me, there really shouldn't have to be a system in place that make or force you to take care of your children. I'm with you with that. Go ahead, Leonard.
and it came about because of the delinquency of the matter. Also, you have to remember that one, we had a situation here that caused a lot of men to lose their lives prior to that, and that was the military conflict. And so you had a lot of women who actually lost the father of their children from doing something honorable as well, participating in the military.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Exactly.
left a lot of fatherless homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so in an effort to repair this issue, especially even related, like say for instance, on the divorce end as well, it was not natural for people to try to evade paying child support or
Mm-hmm.
court ordered child support for that matter in an actual divorce. So you have to remember that marriage used to be the issue where child support became very important because as the divorce rate increased, you had men that would completely rather just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there had to be a legal protection for this situation. And then, of course, we know once it became popular as an option, as an alternative, of course, everyone else ran with it. So it became more involved, more complex. And also, America is one of those places that believes in also trying to take care of children to make sure children are eating as well as going to school. They got clothes to wear, a roof over their head, basic minimum care at least, even if they were living in poverty. Basic minimum care. And these programs came about to try to normalize the situation so you wouldn't completely lose everything. And a lot of women and children would have became homeless. Especially if you're thinking about back then when a woman traditionally was in the home, things had finally started changing, but women weren't ready to directly go out and start making money to take care of a household. So they needed support from the fathers of their children. And the courts and things like that felt like that was reasonable, which it is.
Okay. Now
it's reasonable to expect people to support their children.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you this question, though, Lynn, and we got a couple of other people on the line. We got She Was Strong with us this morning, as well as Badger. I want to get their heart on this as well. Now, you talked about the positive side. Are there any negative in regards to child support?
Well, yeah, of course, it comes with all bureaucracy. You have those errors and things made by the system that completely inconvenient citizens. So the child support system is very raggedy. And it is very, can you say, vindictive?
Yeah.
But it's not vindictive in the way personal, I would say. But what it does, I think, now is it does punish people unfairly simply because of how the system works. That's what's unfair about it.
Okay. And the whole structure of it all.
Well, no, not always. It's not like it's a wrap. It does what it needs to do. But it is still unfair in how it is administered.
Okay. Let me go to She Was Strong. She was, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Glove. Hey, Mr. Leonard. All the way from the 318. Hey, Badger. Hey, Raheem.
No, we got to meet her early in the morning. Lord, but listen, She Was Strong, and it's always good to have the energy. So you always bring it every morning. We definitely appreciate that. We're talking about child support and the history of child support. Sheila, what do you know about the history of child support? And I did a little research. It says that it started up under Gerald Ford back in 1975, the system of child support. Why was it important for them to come up with a system to make somebody want to take care of their children?
First and foremost, I have to say Coming to America 2 was great. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it because child support was brought up in that movie. But I'm here to say this about child support. I think a lot of women use it as a weapon, and a lot of women use it in a vindictive manner. Even though it wasn't supposed to be that way, a lot of women, oh, well, he don't want to be with me no more and he with her, so I'm finna stick him. I feel like nobody should have to make you take care of your offspring. If I have to go to court and make you pay to take care of your child, then what? I mean, come on now. We as people need to get better than that. You are a black male making black males and black females, and your history of how you treating their mom and them is going to be how they choose their mate, and the cycle never ends if we keep on having to be made to do things that we're supposed to do, number one. And I really believe that it is time for our men to step up and do what's right. Now, I do know that there are some men that are doing right and there for the child, and they still be placed on child support out of greed. And the amount or sometimes are outrageous that people are being charged for children. Now, I am a single mom. Don't get me wrong. I do understand where the help is needed. However, again, no one should have to make you take care of your responsibilities, man. If you out there just doing it wrong and you making babies, then you should have to take care of those children. And it's hard. Yes, it is. It's hard to be there. It's hard financially because sometimes I might want to buy me an expensive pair of shoes, but instead I need to buy some food for the house. So it's not all the time doing things because, again, you may want something, but then you have to say, you know what, let me go get this to my child's mother. And to all the baby mothers, quit taking them kids' money and doing stuff for yourself. Quit getting your hair and your nails done and buy you some new clothes when that man give you some money for that child. You know, right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm gonna call it, I'm a simpler of the truth. And the truth will set you free. And a lot of times women that get child support don't spend the money on the children. They spend it on themselves, or they spend it on a computer, or whatever they want to buy at the time. But the child rarely sees it. So I think there's is something wrong with the child support system because they're not looking at all the things that a man may have done. Even if he have receipts, even if he have proof of the things that he's done, he's still stuck with that child support. And they're taking their taxes. They're making it hard for them to live. They're taking over. They can't take half their check, but they can take a lot of their finances away to make it difficult for them to live. So I am for people doing what they're supposed to do and being appreciative of those people that's doing it. I don't think there should have been made a system to make you take care of your responsibility.
Let me go back and I'm gonna go to Badge, but I want to go back to Sherelle for 1 second. Sherelle, what do you say to that? Sometimes it's not utilized in the right way. She would say sometimes y'all ladies, not you as a whole individual, but I'm saying ladies sometimes take that money that's supposed to be for the children and they use it in ways that's not.
That's fact. That's definitely true. Yeah, that's definitely true. And like you said, it's the system. We do kind of. We as women, you do kind of abuse that system really bad. You know, I can't be with you, but guess what? You going on child support? Oh, you got a new girlfriend already? Oh, you going on child support? And child support is more than just, because what you get after child support system is money. That's what you get. They're still not making you pick him or her up in school. They're not making you go spend time with them at the park. That system is just money for money gain. You know what I'm saying? That's for money, which indeed, yes, you should. That's a system. That system should not make you do something you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Or force you to do something you're supposed to do. But child support is much more than monetary.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that's being there, teaching them understand the lesson when you fall and you get back up. It's a lesson in that. You know what I'm saying? And that it's just more than that. So when it comes to child support, like Leonard said, he's pro child support. It's the system I'm against. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pro child support. You know what I'm saying? I'm against that child support system because that system does not make a man or a woman take care of those kids. They make them pay for those kids. It's a difference.
Absolutely. So, and and you're absolutely right. There's a huge difference. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badge, I need to hear your heart. I wanted to go back to Sherelle because I knew she had something to say about what she was just saying. I want to hear your heart on this whole child support system and why is there or was there a need to have a system to make somebody take care of their child?
Well, when there's a bad parent, it's usually an intelligent decision to get them out of the house, especially if they don't want to do therapy or change their ways. And a lot of them are not exactly responsible. So I can understand why there'd be a law to help support the single parent. Yet at the same time, they're also right. There are some people that take advantage of it and are greedy. Well, their kids suffering, but their kids suffering, yet they have all these things in their pockets and rings and a fancy car and all kinds of stuff. And they get in huge trouble if it's ever found out. You know, like the situation when I was a kid, you know, when my dad and finally divorced and got out away from my mom, he didn't want nothing from her, no child support, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Which with my psychotic mother, I can understand why. Cut her out and you're done. What you shaking your head for?
Wow. Wow. And see
Right.
that, yes.
I want to say, on Sherelle, it makes perfect sense because it takes more than money to raise a child. It takes you actually being there as a father because no one can take a place of a father. And I'm a single mom and I'm doing it myself. But at the same time, I know my sons and my daughters need a male figure to look up to and look at, make sure they are complete and are great citizens in this great America. So, when it's and if you look at Coming to America too, you'll see that when he was raised up just by his mother, he lacked some things. And then when his father came in and started teaching him and talking to him, he was able to become a more rounded person, making better decisions. So fathers do matter. Even though we as women can do it by ourselves, you have to admit that a male figure does matter in the household as far as raising a child. And y'all don't have to be together for that to happen. I can agree to disagree. You ain't gotta like him, he ain't gotta love you, and you ain't gotta sleep with him every time he come. It's about that child. And that's what we fail to realize. It's about the child getting what they need and not you manipulating to get what you want.
That's true.
See, in my
Hold on 1 second, Patrick. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm just listening. All the personal stuff I don't really care anything about.
Mm-hmm.
But the child support as a system was only designed to secure financial support for a child. That's what the child support system is for.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for anything else.
Has it been?
It's your job to marry somebody.
Has it been, Leonard? Has it been, Leonard? Has it been, or do you think it could be manipulated?
Of course, but no more than everything else that's manipulated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's always usually a battle between people. It's your moral character that comes into play. I don't want to hear nothing about a woman talking about what it takes to raise a child. I don't care nothing about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about child support.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the quality of man that you make with. That's your business. That's not the state's business.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of this could be destroyed. A lot of this could be destroyed in the selection of who a person decide to be with.
Exactly. That's your business. That's not the state's business.
Mm-hmm. Sherelle, what do you say to that? Is
type of person you are.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Sherelle, what do you say to that?
Type of person.
Hold on 1 second, Leonard. Now, what do you say to that, Sherelle? And Leonard has a point, man. If it's selection, it's who you select and who you decide to be with, and then later on, it's determined that they're not who you thought they were, and not responsible to the point where they're gonna take care of their children, whether you're with them or not. How could that eliminate this whole child support situation we're talking about?
It doesn't eliminate. Either which way it goes, it still brings down to. I get what he's saying. None of that personal stuff and stuff like that, and it doesn't have nothing to do with the state. But the moment I bring it to the state, it has everything to do with the state.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The moment I choose to bring it to the state, now the state is in my business.
Mm-hmm.
So now the state has a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So once I choose to bring it to the state, because now, mind you, some people are on child support because for a valid reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out of spite. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's when, okay, I sort of kind of understand. Like if you down and out and you need that support, which everybody does who has a child, you need that support, then you get it if you're down and out. But you make sure you try to elevate yourself to where that child support goes strictly for the child. Some people are using the child support for the child. Some people are not.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? But the moment that I choose to bring it to the state, that becomes the state's business. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So as a woman, do I agree? Do I agree with men or women being on child support? To an extent, I do. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, but I'm not pro that system. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just not pro that system. So because you have women that don't do nothing either. We can't just say men. You know what I'm saying? We got women that don't do nothing either. That should definitely be on child support. You know what I mean? But it's once I bring it to the States, I made it to the States. I made it their business. You see what I'm saying? So I get what he's saying though. So, I mean, it's definitely true. I get what he's saying.
Okay, that's
but
good.
I'm still not pro that. I'm not pro that system because I mean to force somebody to, that's a system that forces you to pay. Which is that system is for you to pay. You know what I'm saying? When I go to jail, me as a woman, and somebody put me on child support, the moment I don't pay or I reach a certain amount, and they all of a sudden this type of charge, that type of charge, I go to jail, you're still not getting paid. You know what I mean? I'm out. I'm still not paying because I'm choosing not to. So you force me to do what? Still not pay for certain. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't doing it before, so you got the state involved, and I'm still not paying. Now I'm locked up. I'm still not paying. I get out. I'm still not going to pay. Then I go back to jail. You still not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So the system, I'm just not pro it when it comes to terms like that. Most people are on child support because they're not doing monetary what they're supposed to do for that child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're still not going to do it. So I mean, I get it.
But see, my question is what kind of person, and I know there's all kind of people in the world, but what kind of person would not want to take care of a child that they help to create? I mean, that's your responsibility.
CJ.
That's right, but if you don't care about yourself, what makes you think they're gonna care about a child? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and then some people don't know. Some people wear masks out here, and some women or men don't know the people who they deal with until they deal with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just a lesson that they have to learn. It is what it is. I mean,
but at the end of the day, the one that's suffering is not him, is not her, it's that child. And so that's go ahead.
The one that's suffering is definitely, well, when it comes to child support system, the child is not suffering. The child probably doesn't even know how much they're getting from that system. So how is the child suffering from that system?
Because if a person is not paying,
the child how much they're getting.
Yeah, but see, my thing is, if a person is not paying, then the lack of finances in that house to take care of that child, that's how the child is suffering. Because if you're not paying, then the money that would be coming into the household is not coming into the household, and so because of lack of funds, that child is suffering in some kind of way.
If you sit up here and rely on child support every month and you don't get up there and try to provide or do something to provide for your child, you are the problem as well.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Not just that person not paying child support.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Badger, what's on your heart?
Now, as far as my mother goes, she didn't want children. She wanted slaves. She wanted us to obey and do anything and everything she wanted, including screw people over. So I think, like, and in some situations, you know, the way they go about trying to get that money from some people is kind of messed up. Not even giving them a chance. But at the same time, you know, it's created for people that are in tight situations, that are as a single parent trying to make the other person responsible. And outside of that, you know, you really can't say a whole lot because that's just what it is.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of layers here. What's on your heart, brother?
I mean, you know, I don't believe that you know, like I say, it's about child support. It's about the money that is needed to support that child. Folks can always say, well, I don't need this, or I don't need that, or whatever. I ain't never heard nobody don't need no more money. And one, I can guarantee you, you can't pay for a college education out of your pocket.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, when things happen, say the kid needs surgery or whatever, you can't pay for it out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
This whole notion that now it's become you can see the inequity in the child support system, but only because you have so many people who have terrible moral character. I'm never going to get let up on that. Child support to me is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
If a man handles his business, he don't get caught up. So you need to handle your business and quit leaning on the state to be your God, because the state is not.
Mm-hmm.
And the system says that, why should the system pay to support your children, put them in a home, and everything else, and you do nothing?
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm. On something.
So if nothing else, you need to reimburse whoever did it for you.
Mm-hmm. That's good, because like Sherelle said, it's not the state. It's really not the state's responsibility. It really isn't. Sherelle, what's on your heart?
I know. I agree with what I definitely agree with what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, that's how I feel about certain situations, and I speak on it. Like at the end of the day, I get it. Why? You know what I'm saying? But if I'm sitting back relying on a check that's possibly not gonna come one week,
mm-hmm.
and I know something has to get done, I'm gonna sit there. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I have children to take care of. I can't rely on what somebody's not gonna do. It's a possibility that check might not come.
Yeah.
So knowing that, you have to be proactive and make sure you have your stuff together as well, on top of receiving that support from them or whatever. So I definitely agree with that.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say, what I'm hearing you say is, you go out there and make the cake, and if that child support comes, that's the icing on top of the cake, but you still gonna eat because you still have the cake, even if the icing don't come.
Well, basically, I mean, no, yes and no, but I mean, child support is for the child. You know what I'm saying? We all know everybody's not doing the right thing with the money. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you make sure you be proactive. It could be a possibility. I'm gonna go to work. Are you gonna most people, if they know they're not gonna get paid from work, do they show up to work? Some people do, some people don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But are you just gonna sit up here? But most people that know they're not gonna get a check, what's the first thing they say? I gotta find me another job.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're being proactive with that. You have to be proactive if you know that this is not a guaranteed check sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Child support is not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
You're guaranteed to have them on it. The state is guaranteed to lock them up after a certain amount of time when they catch up with them. But you're not guaranteed money every week, because if they don't pay you, then what are you going to do? Sit back and fuss about it all day?
Mm-hmm.
No, you signed up for a system that's not guaranteed to you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be proactive when it comes to your children, women and men. Women and men have to do that. You have to be proactive. Mm-hmm. And it's not just we can say men. Women got to do better too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I don't know.
Exactly. And that's good. Exactly. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. We're talking about the history of child support. We're talking about the history of child support. Give us a call and let us know what you think about this thing. And why is there or was there ever even a need to have a system in place to make an individual, male or female, want to take care of their children? Got another call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I guess that would be me.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Hey, Leonard, mute your phone for me, Leonard. Yes, sir. That would be you, sir. Absolutely. And we asking the question. We talk about the history of child support. And Donna, why was there ever even a need? Was there ever even a need to have a child support system that forces somebody to take care of their child?
You heard that. So you know how that's gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, what I noticed? Well, I didn't know that there are some people that are professional college students, because I think at one time, if you was in school, they would delay your payments
Mm-hmm.
on child support. Then there were some that when they have a child, they do everything they possibly can to not take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a young two people got together, and the female was telling the father, the baby's daddy, as I call about some needs of the child.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he said, and I can't say it like that. But he said, stop calling me about those um, children.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little word, begins with a D
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
between that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was his children.
Mm.
Don't call me about them kids. And then there's some, and I know there's others on the call, but then there's some that when they find out, I can't understand it. When child support came into play, there was some. It's because of the mentality of the parents. That's why it came about.
Mm-hmm.
In neglecting the kids because they had issues with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you go your separate ways after having kids,
Yeah.
but the kids still have needs.
Mm-hmm. They still got to eat.
Yeah, they still gonna always have needs.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something else about child support. It don't do it all.
Yeah.
Child support don't take them to the baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't buy tennis shoes. Don't buy shirts. Don't don't visit the teachers when you start acting up at school. Child support don't do that.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Child support don't rock them to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do none of that.
When they have a temperature or something like that, and they're not feeling good, child support ain't gonna fix that.
No. Don't check no temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wipe no snotty nose and don't comb no hair.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But see, people have a tendency to make it about money. And then when they get the money, child support agency have to come back in and make sure you're doing the right thing. But it's just a way for the government to get in your business. That's all. That's what it's all about. Dictate to you what you know you should be able to do yourself.
Wow. 678. It is absolutely 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Phone lines are open. We're asking the question. We'll talk about the history of child support and why is there or were there ever even a need to have a system that forced someone to take care of their children. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know me, and I do research. So before 1776, there was child support in the 13 colonies, and then it evolved from there. It originally evolved from the English Poor Laws that were over in the UK back then. And from what I'm seeing, it developed into what we now know it as of today in 1975. And became more strict in the 90s. I think about 1996.
Mm-hmm.
But in the 1800s, about 1870, there were states, 11 states made it a penal offense for a father to abandon or refuse to support his minor child. So there were a lot of things primarily aimed at the men. But there was also laws that were trying to keep it where the wife and children would be able to claim what the father owned. Because there was a lot of stupid actions back then as far as that kind of stuff went. So the history of it's actually quite interesting, and that's what I'm looking at right now because it's been going on since the beginning of the nation's history.
And see, that's my thing right there, Sherelle. Why in the world would someone have to force? And I keep going back to this. Why would someone have to force someone to take
How
care of?
did we get off on the?
Huh? Donnie, you talking to me?
No, I'm sorry. I should have had a mute button on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sherelle, and I'm asking the question again. I'm back to why would there have to even be a system in place? Because if people are responsible and take care of the responsibilities as they should, there will be no need for a child support system.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I guess why is because people are not doing it. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Um,
Is it fair? Now I've seen some numbers. I've seen some situation where a person was paying $25 every 2 weeks or something like that, and some people are paying. I looked up some of the numbers of some of the celebrities, and they're paying 10, 20, 30, $50,000 a month for child support. There's a huge gap there.
I mean, there's a huge gap, but the income might be different from me to you. You might be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I might make $6 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm gonna pay $25. And I think I don't know. That's 25. I guess that's a cheeseburger Happy Meal once a day. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something. Do I agree? I mean, I get it, but I mean the system I don't agree with. I don't. But that's income. They're going off your income. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? If you tell them and you show proof that you're not making a lot, of course you're going to pay less.
Mm-hmm.
If you show proof or they show proof that you're making $1 million a month, of course you're going to pay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Leonard, let me ask this question on Leonard. For a person to pay $25 every 2 weeks or $25 a month, and I understand, like Sherelle said, it's based on the income. But how much are you supporting a child if you're only paying $25 a month?
Well, this is the thing. It's not going to be. It's like a lot of people say. It's so unbalanced. It's based on the income of the parent.
Yes.
If you whatever you make, there's a certain percentage of your income that, as an aggregate amount, that should be required of you for your child. And the closest you can come to is on a certain percentage. Say, for instance, with a monthly budget, you are considered living within your means if your total cost for housing is about 25% of your income.
Mm-hmm.
So you take that percentage of your income, and 25% of that, regardless of how much you make, is usually at a moderate amount to spend for housing. So what we're dealing with average amounts and things of that nature based on your income. Where would you live making $25 million is a whole lot different where you would live if you're making $2,500.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the difference. The income is what dictates what is acceptable and what is paid. And now you got it more popular to go into lifestyle because it is based on this. If I'm a man making $25 million and I'm out here tricking off on the weekend and I got a baby, and this girl may not be even making $7 an hour, guess what? She just cashed the winning ticket.
Yes, sir.
It don't matter because they're gonna look at his income. They don't care nothing about what she's doing. They're going to look at his income because the child is entitled to the lifestyle of its father. That's the concept. Now how you misuse the system is up to you. But that's the basis of the system. It ain't to take more from you than necessary. It's to be on a sliding scale based on your income.
Okay, and that's good, and I understand that, and that makes perfectly good sense, Leonard. But I'm still stuck on this situation, man. If a person income, and let's stay where you were, income only suggested that they pay $25 every 2 weeks. Leonard, that's not enough to take care of a child. That's not.
It's not about what the no.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that. It's about a percentage of the income.
Mm-hmm.
Does not matter what the income is, because the state is going to pay the rest of the bill.
Mm-hmm. So who's gonna pay that money back to the state? Because the money, a lot of times they want their money back.
The parent that come up short. That's child support.
Mm. So that's where you get into all these arrears and stuff like that. I thought the arrears was just because of the fact that you didn't make your payment. But now you're telling me that it's based on other things, other elements as well.
No, you get an order of what you should pay based on your income.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you report to the court that you have for income.
Mm-hmm.
Because trust me, even if you don't report it, the moment your employer files, they can find out how much you make.
Mm-hmm.
So this ain't no big secret. You have a lot of, and even one of the things that people used to do was, okay, guys used to say, well, I ain't gonna work. How they gonna get child support then? But see, he has to deal with how he gonna eat, where he gonna live, how he gonna hide his money that he making from the state. So it's just a big game you play. And trust me, the mother of your child will help them. Because that's one of those issues where, one, do you know where he at? Was that they talk to him, they have to find him. Once they find him, there's a court order that says how much you pay. And it usually doesn't change. It doesn't change until the income is reevaluated.
Wow. That's true. Donna Toussaint, talk to me. Mute your phone, Belinda.
I'm glad you came to me. I'm glad you came to me because I had some experience in that area.
Oh Lord, we about to open up some cans now, brother. Go ahead.
Here's my story. I had bought me a new 1997 Chevy Lumina. And I wanted to see what it could do. So in a 2-lane highway, in a 55-mile-per-hour zone, I opened it wide until I got to about 95 miles an hour and passed the sheriff.
Ooh.
And so, of course, he pulled me over about a mile, something like that, quarter mile, something like that. I don't know. Before I got to my house. And he says to me, you're in a rush, ain't you? I said, man, look, I'm clowning myself. Give me time to tell my little story step, right? I'm clowning myself. I just bought this car and I wanted to see what it could do. So he took my license in. Now, mind you, and I heard what someone said. I was working at actually I was working where I'm working now. And they pay good money. There's nobody here, even if you sweep in the floor, you're going to make more than $20 an hour. Okay? So when I quit this job, I went back home to see about my parents. In the meantime, time went on and I bought this car. And I remember going to reevaluate my income because versus here and the job that I had back home, I was making minimum wage. And I think it had gone maybe $7, six something an hour. So me with my reevaluating going before the judge, I wanted to reevaluate my income and what I was paying versus, me making this kind of money versus minimum wage. So I stood before the judge and the lawyer told me, she said, sign these papers. I said, well, I ain't going to be able to pay what I used to be paying because I don't make the same kind of money. She said, I'm telling you, you need to sign these papers. I said, I want to talk to the judge. She said, she shook her head. She said, I done told you. So me, I'm going before the judge, and the guy before me, the judge asked him, he says, "You in the rear?" I think he was like in the rear, $30,000. I don't know how you get.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let me tell my story. Right here. Give me a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm almost finished.
Okay.
The judge said, "Where you been?" He said, "Houston." And when he said, "Well, what you were doing in Houston?" And he hunched his shoulder. And the judge said, "Well, you got 6 months to think about what you was doing." And he gave him 6 months in jail.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Right then there on the spot for failure to appear in court to pay child support. So anyway, I come up. It's my turn. And I explained to the judge my income change. He said, "You don't have to sign them papers." He said, "But if you don't sign them, I will give you 6 months in the county jail."
Mm.
I said, "Give me them papers."
Boy, look at he made you a believer, didn't he?
Man, look, and didn't miss a payment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when I got arrested, well, they did pick me when I'm going 95 miles an hour. He took me to jail. He stopped me by my house. I told my wife and said, "I'm going to jail for child support." I said, "Bring my papers with me."
Mm-hmm.
Because my explanation to the police that arrested me, or call itself arrested,
Mm-hmm.
I told him, "I have a refund check in my pocket." He said, "Well, that ain't got nothing to do with what's on record."
Mm-hmm.
So long story, very long story. Short was, they don't care nothing about you getting a refund. If they see my name was still in the system as failure to appear in court, when I knew I appeared in court, and not only that, I was able to pay to the point where they gave me money back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if they put your name in the system, I promise you they're gonna come get you.
It doesn't matter. And I'm glad that Sherelle is with us this morning. I want to ask you this question, Sherelle, and you answer from your heart. In some cases, do you think child support system is set up against us as men?
Yeah, yeah, and it's set up against the women too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I believe it's all in how you use that system, on how it's set up. It's set up so if you use it incorrectly, it can definitely go against you or the person you're trying to put on child support.
Mm-hmm.
It's also set up to where if you use it correctly, it could be in your favor and their favor. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of people don't know the ins and outs of child support. A lot of people don't, you know what I'm saying, don't know what forms they can file to get it reduced.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. You know, they don't know they can file a motion with the court to have it reduced. They don't know that. So it can work for you and it can work against you. The system as a whole, as far as for men, I think it's not fair when it comes to men.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're always going to side with the woman. And a lot of times it don't even be the situation a woman says sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's on men to research and understand what they need to do to take care of whatever they have to take care of within that system. Mm-hmm. It can be for you and it can be against you, but I definitely think it's against, if you utilize it that way, and which is what most people probably do. You know, it's very rare that you'll find a person that's on child support because the right thing, because it's very rare that you'll find that they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But a person that's on child support, 9 times out of 10, you're on child support out of spite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's there. It can be for you and it can be against you. I mean, they create systems for everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely think that it's not for. It's not. I mean, it depends on how you utilize it. I don't feel like if I fall on hard times and I'm behind, I don't feel like I should go to jail because I fell on hard times and I'm behind.
Yeah.
But that system says I have to pay $25 every 2 weeks. That's the system that my name is on, and I signed on paper saying I'm going to do that. But then on my end, I have to be responsible and let the courts know, hey, I fell on hard times. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where it comes in at. Because some people don't do that. You know what I mean? So, it can be for you and it can be against you at the same time.
Good deal.
Depending on how you use it.
Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart? What do you say to that, man? Do you think sometimes there are some situations where the child support system is geared against men?
Man, that what isn't geared to be against a man or a woman at some point? Especially if it's something from the government.
Okay.
So depth. To me, a lot of this stuff is just simple. It is what it is. So like the history of the child support and how it works and things of that nature, I'm surprised at how many people don't know what all it entails. But in some ways, I'm kind of like Leonard. I mean, yeah, we can personalize it and take it in 100 different directions, but child support is simply what child support is. Yeah, it's going to target people and things like that, or make it harder for some people than others. But it is what it is until we as the people, work towards changing it and changing the way our the mentality that the people in the community have. Because a lot of people will go, well, I don't want to be married to her anymore or married to him anymore. I'm just going to leave him and just pay child support. They leave knowing that they're going to do it and they don't care. And there's a problem with the mentality behind that.
Absolutely. Because like we said earlier, Leonard, child support don't wipe the child nose when the child is sick. Do the things that the child need, go to the games that the child need. When the child is having a game or whatever, child support don't do these things. Only thing child support do is put some extra money in the custodial parent's pocket. But there's other things that child support just cannot do for that child.
Now, hold on. Before, no, the one thing I haven't heard as far as child support goes, yeah, sure, help with money and all that stuff, but the fact that while people are on child support, they're supposed to be like watched, and the fact there are so many men and women out there that are taking advantage of it and their kids are still treated like crap, but the judges and court systems and CPS and all that stuff don't do anything about those, but they'll take the kids away from the good parent. That's a huge problem in that system.
Exactly. Go ahead, Leonard.
Well, you like to say, I'm not into the moral situation. The only, long as I'm all for child support, and it's against the non-custodial parent usually. Society is against men. You have maybe judges that may be against men, but the system is directed towards supporting the custodial parent. I've helped fathers in the past. Either you come up with an agreement of your own, or the state will do that for you. I have no sympathy whatsoever about the situation. Don't be in that system. Because you knew that before you did what you did. So if you knew that this was your situation, why would you then go do that thing? Sin costs.
Oh, yeah.
So if you think you can get away with not paying and everything, and everybody got their own story, And this whole notion of they ain't using the money the way, are they neglecting the child? Then you get your child and you get full custody of your child since you're so concerned.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Since the other parent is so neglectful, you go and get full custody of your child.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Grand Rising, man. I can't complain. How y'all doing this morning, man?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're talking about the child support system, what the history of the child support system and how it's set up. Is it fair? And why, Rico, was there ever even a need? Why was there ever even a need for a child support system?
There was definitely a need, but there was. I went live yesterday, and when I went live, I talked about foolproof.
Mm-hmm.
Foolproof it. They didn't. When it was definitely a need because my generation of young men and women were. I think we were probably the children of the most deadbeats in the history of man. Those 70s. They went through integration and had exposure to the heroin and the drugs and all this other access they got. I think we were the biggest, I'm going to say the early 70s and late 60s children, probably early 80s. We were the most, vulnerable. We were the ones that suffered from the deadbeat parent syndrome. So it became a point where it was needed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't disagree with it. Then after it kicked in, it got abused and misused.
Mm-hmm.
Prove it. So now most people think that when men, or I'm not gonna say men because there's some women on child support too. Most people think that when you sort of complain or gripe about child support, you're thinking about the money coming out your pocket. But what really and truly is about the misuse and the mishandling of the money.
Mm-hmm.
The generation we're in now, this generation of young adults that's in the 18 to 27 or 28-year-old range, they are the generation of the children that realize that money didn't go to them the way they're supposed to. They're the generation that seen them mom getting all the weed.
Mm-hmm.
Children. They're the ones that saw their moms having 4 or 5 different children by 4 or 5 different men and getting all that big money and all those food stamps and selling them. So it was very much needed, but they didn't. Everything has a pro and a con, just like the internet, just like driving a car, just like your cell phone. Everything has a pro and a con. And they didn't take the liberty to prevent the child support system from being abused.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about support. You got the financial end taken care of, but we still suffering from the quality time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And my thing is this one here, Rico. We talked this morning about some people paying athletes. Some of your athletes pay $10,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month or whatever, or what have you, for child support. Now, I don't agree. I don't understand why one child would be able to get $50,000 a month for child support, and another get $50 a month for child support, or $25 every 2 weeks for child support. There's a huge gap there, Rico. What is how is that how does that make sense?
And you create an atmosphere. Soon they start having women targeting men that make money, and after they get this one baby by this one man, then they on to the next man that make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So they start looking out for guys that potentially can take care of them. But then, like I said, here we go again. As that system kicked in, it changed from I need to force this man to take care of my child to girl, yeah, right. Go and take them out of them white folk. They'll handle it, then you ain't even got to worry about it no more. So then that became a retaliation tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I ended up on child support because I wouldn't watch my kids on my birthday. Wait a minute. Y'all used to live with me.
Mm-hmm.
I used to pay all the bills. You didn't have to pay no bills. I worked so you could go to school. Now you've been gone 3 or 4 months. You chose to go and get in a project. Somebody been ill because you ain't happy about something. Okay, now if you want to leave, cool. But don't act like I ain't been taking care of my children. So now, you don't want to watch them on your birthday? Well, you already know I'm going out of town on my birthday. I told you this last week. So now you go and you just quit your job. You don't take on nobody else. You don't even try to find another babysitter. You gonna prove a point to me And that point was you had already been hearing in your ear, girl, go put him on hot child support. Because you hear it. Oh, he don't want to act like him. That's what happened. So it became a tool of retaliation. It became a force to reckon with, because nothing, like I said, you don't have a problem mainly. Well, I mean, you have a problem with children not being taken care of financially, but you have a consequence behind that. You can go to jail. You can lose your license.
Exactly.
What about the children that aren't seeing any of that money? What about the children whose moms are smoking the money up or taking care of some man? Or what about who are getting that money, but they still ain't seeing daddy? Daddy still ain't taught them how to catch.
Exactly. And I want to go to Sherelle with that very topic right there. And Sherelle, a person could pay child support. They could pay child support. They could be current, all the way up to date. Even have money already stacked up in the system where they paying ahead of time. But what about the time, the quality time? Because a lot of time, I've seen situations where a man will be paying child support for his children, but still not be able to see his children. Still not be able to see his children because she has some kind of ill in her against him, ill begotten. But he's doing the things he think he's supposed to do, but he can't see his children, even though he's current with child support. Now, how does that work, Sherelle? Talk to me.
I mean, that works because he's allowing her to tell him he can't see his kids.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, when you're on child support, there's paternal laws that back you. You know what I'm saying? So if it goes back to knowing or reading, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a man and you want to see your kids, if you allow a woman to tell you can't see your kids, then you need to reevaluate yourself. If you're a man, if you're a woman and a man is on child support and he's telling you can't see your kids, I mean, you're on child support and he's telling you can't see your kids, then you need to reevaluate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A person's only going to do what you allow them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying go and force your way in, but you know what I'm saying? There's ways you can see your kids. That's not even an excuse. Oh, because she's not letting me. She has ill will. She's not. There's no such thing as she's not letting me see my kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing. You're not letting yourself see your kids because you must fear her or what she's going to do. What is child support? You're on child support. What is she going to do? Call down there and tell them you're trying to see your kids?
Mm-hmm. So
you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't do that.
I see Rico shaking his head. No, I'm not going to go to that brother right now. Ain't nowhere in the world because they don't tell him what he about to say. I'm going to come right. Let me go to Donna.
I'm saying it's no, but you can't. You can't. And in the state of South Carolina, if you know your laws, if you're on that birth certificate and you don't have any court order things against you, well, child support is one, and you don't have any other court order stuff against you, you can legally go pick up your child from school, whether she says you can't see them or not, or you can legally go in that yard and take them and just let them know that you have her. That's not kidnapping in the state of South Carolina. If you know your laws and stuff, then you'll be able to do certain things. But
so you're not gonna get ain't no Amber Alert gonna go off on you. Ain't no Amber Alert gonna go off on you. Them kids missing. You ain't gonna get no Amber Alert.
Not if you have court order. Not if you don't have court order stuff against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a child. That's a child.
Mm-hmm.
But if you allow a woman to tell you can't see your kids and you sit in that, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
My children's fathers, I wish I would tell them you can't see your kids.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would say that. They strong. You know what I'm saying? They know how to get to me without the law.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. They're not going to allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? But people do that because they feel in some type of way. Again, that's how they say the feelings, when you get the feelings involved, and it's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It's a lot of that out here.
Yeah.
And I tell these dudes, like, you don't, so you let her tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm trying. You're trying to do what? If you let her tell you that and you haven't seen your kids yet, then you're trying to do what? I don't want to hear it. That's an excuse.
Exactly. Let me do this.
He won't let me see my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
Exactly. I was picking a minute ago when I said I wasn't going to dare go to Rico. The reason why I'm not going to do that because we got Cassandra with us. I want to go to Cassandra. Then Rico, I'm coming back to you because I know you got something on your heart, brother. But Cassandra, we're talking. Hey, good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. We're talking about the history of the child support system, and we're also talking about a man that's right. What we're talking about right now is a man that's caught up. He's current, maybe even have paid ahead of time, but he still cannot see his children because she would not allow him to do so. Cassandra, how wrong is that?
No, but that's not even legal. When I hear these conversations, if a man is paying child support, any state, I don't care what state you in, he has a legal right to see that child.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's been some type, even if there's been some type of abuse, he can have visitation, supervised visitations even
Mm-hmm.
with that child. So I'm talking about against
Yes,
the mother, not against the child. Because if
absolutely.
it's against the child, he can't see her, of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Mm-hmm.
But so for people to say that, no, if your child support is caught up, you have a legal right. And if she doesn't let you do it, then you can go to court and they will make her let you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not even a question as to whether, you can do it or not. It's just a lot of people don't do it, don't pay, or they pay when they feel like paying. How does that work
Mm-hmm.
when you have a child that's in need?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the sorry mothers who do. Most of the mothers are not sorry. Most of the fathers that are taking care of their children are not sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So, we just got to keep, let's just keep the balance. It's not about the sorry ones that ain't doing what they're supposed to do. The ones that are doing what they're supposed to do, they have legal rights
Mm-hmm.
according to the law in every state.
Mm-hmm.
Every state.
Okay. Now, what do you say, Cassandra? And we're going to go to Rico and Badger right after that. But what do you say in some situations? We was talking about some people, professional athletes or whatever, paying $50,000 a month, and then you got some people that's paying $25 or $50 a month, $25 every 2 weeks. There's a huge gap there. How is that fair? How is that
Yeah, but
just?
that's based on your income.
Yeah.
If you making money where the courts see that you can pay $50,000 a month, then you need to pay 50,000. I don't care how
But
much it is.
Cassandra,
It's based on
what
your income. If
what
you are
child?
in a income range where I'm just talking law. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't talking what we think or what we would like to see happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you by law are making money where you can pay $50,000 a year according to the court system, then you need to pay. That means the money is there. Then you need to pay that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making $325 a week, you can't pay that and live.
Mm-hmm.
So I, to me, here we go again. It's a no-brainer. If you can afford to pay it, the courts will tell you to pay it. If you can't afford to pay it, the courts will tell you no. You just pay $50 a week
Mm-hmm.
or $75 a week. I know men that do that, but you need to be paying something. It's your child. I don't care if
I
you ain't with the
agree,
mother and you
Cassandra.
can't
I
stand her.
agree. I agree
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. But $50,000 a month, a month.
If you making it, it's based on your income. Come on now. If you're making money where you can afford, this isn't something they randomly just come out of the air and say, hey, you gonna pay for. No, they get your records, your financial records, and that is how they assess how much you're supposed to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are making money where they say, hey, he can live, he can pay his rent, he can do what is it, but he still can afford to pay 50,000, then you pay 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, that's your child. If you're making that kind of money, you need to pay it.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
I
It's just based on law. I mean, it's based on law. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the money. It's your dang child.
Yeah, I understand that, Cassandra, but yeah. Let me get Rico to read this here for me. Rico, read that for me, brother.
Question. I believe they meant to ask, why is it?
Mm-hmm.
Why the man is always threatened by jail or losing. I know they mean losing.
Mm-hmm.
Losing of your license. But when women falsely accuse a man of being the father, but find out he's not, so why aren't they threatened with some kinds of punishment? Just ask.
Well, why is that, Rico?
I have no clue. I got that same question. I found out a little girl wouldn't mind a couple of years ago after 9 years, and now the mama act like she ain't never did nothing wrong. She still walk around with her chest stuck out, like, you know what I'm saying? She ain't did nothing wrong. I mean, just oh well, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
When I see this little girl, you know what I'm saying? We still got this history. Not to mention, I had that happen. Right now, there's a man running around here about, I ain't gonna say running around here because he's an upstanding man, coach, runs for city council and stuff like that. But whenever he sees me, it's hard for him to speak to me because I was like the sixth dude that he thought was his daddy when he was young, and it was some things his mom did, like just breaking him and dropping him off where I was, calling him on her job, asking what you gonna do for my son for Christmas. Because my mom and my stepdad, they were living pretty good. They did pretty well for themselves. So people always thought that because they were doing good that I was gonna be this silver spoon child.
Mm-hmm.
They started getting phone calls. And I was like, man, why you telling this boy that I'm his dad? I asked you when he was born, was he mine? And you said no. Now 8 years later, he mine. Not only is he mine, but you just gonna push him off on you. You riding around looking for where I hang out at and just dropping him off. And I know this got to be awkward. I'm not even thinking about me. All my friends are all Rico. Yeah, he looked like you. He looked like you. I'm like, yeah, he looked like the other dudes too. But at the same time, I'm thinking about this young man. I ain't thinking about me. I'm thinking about the fact that, wait a minute, I know I'm like the fourth or fifth guy that he has been told is his father. So he got to change his dynamics every time, hoping that one of these guys is the right one this time. Then when he asks him, well, mama, what happened? Why ain't you with my daddy? Oh, we were together, but we didn't get along, so we broke up. Well, wait a minute. What about the other 4 guys before then? So then after she found out that it wasn't mine, guess what? He still had to find out about 2 or 3 more guys.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. So, that situation, man, is just, I feel like a woman should be prosecuted, especially once the man has been put on child support, because ain't that hard?
Exactly. And it should be. Leonard, you wanted to say something as well. What were you saying, Leonard?
Oh, I think it was when Rico was beginning to talk, but the system is, definitely set up for the custodial parent, because the custodial parent is taking care of the everyday things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miss Cassandra said, guys that take care of their children don't have a problem with child support.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
You can make an agreement with the woman to give her a certain amount of money at a certain period of time, go down there, get it notarized, and put it down there in the court. No problem.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's when there's the issue. Or when you try, I don't sat in child support court. I don't watch a judge tell particular parties, go fix it yourself, because if you come in here and I have to do it, somebody's going to feel very neglected.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, I gave you the opportunity to take care of this yourself. But you can't even come up with what you need to do for your child. I'll tell you what, I'll do it for you then. So it's not so much about complaining about the system for me. It was always about, once again, staying out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. Now let's deal with the question.
It's going to be 18 years out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now let's deal with the question. I want to go to Sherelle as well, but let's deal with that question that was asked on by the Facebook user, where they said that if is determined that you're not the father, you go to jail if you're not paying your child support. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but if it's determined that you're not the father, why isn't there any repercussions coming, anything happening to her as the young lady that falsely accused you?
Well, first of all, I don't know of any state that has an automatic law that charges will automatically be pressed.
Amen. Amen.
The male can pursue. He can pursue and file a civil complaint against her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's up. But see, it's up. It's up. So what I'm hearing you say is up to him to do that. But if it's reverse, it's not up to her. Rather, they're gonna go after the man. And so there's unjust there.
She signed your name.
Mm-hmm.
She signed your name. She
Yeah.
told them who you were.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're pursuing you.
Mm-hmm. But when it's and that's my point. But that's my point, though. When she did that, you're absolutely right, 100% on that. But when it's determined that, okay, he's not that child's father, now he's been paying for 12, 13 years. You went down there and said that you wrote his name on this paper. You press these papers on him, say that he is the child he's been paying for 12 years, and then y'all finally get to the point where y'all have a DNA test or whatever happened, and it's determined in whatever way it's determined that he's not the father. He gets nothing.
Well, you shouldn't have waited that long. You should have waited the moment somebody sent you some papers talking about you on child support.
And you have a legal right to as soon as you get those papers, you can ask the court for a DNA test. I'm trying to figure out why we're getting the 10, 11, 9 years, 5 years, 1 year. As soon as you get the papers, you say, Your Honor, I request a DNA test. Mm-hmm. That's it. That kills all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I know you didn't do that because that's why you standing in front of a white man talking about taking care of your child.
Amen.
Because you're irresponsible.
But see, no. So all the irresponsibility is just on the man. None of the irresponsibility is on the woman at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, the woman is irresponsible, but the state has the system to take care of her irresponsibility. State don't have one for you.
Wow.
You have to
see, my thing is, can't nobody see the unjust and how it's so unbalanced.
You know what's unjust? You know what's more unjust than that?
Mm-hmm.
Getting women pregnant and not being married to them.
Well, you can't get a woman pregnant. Leonard, now we're doing the reversal of the lady that was bought before Jesus, because in adultery we're doing the reverse. We putting all the earnest on the man and no responsibility on the woman.
I know, but you weren't worried about Jesus when you was fornicating.
Neither was she. Neither was she. She wasn't either.
Right. That's why y'all in front of court.
It ain't y'all. It ain't y'all. The court. No, it's not a y'all situation. It's a man. He's the one that's up against the court system. She's not. The court system is working in her favor. Go ahead, Rico.
Mm-hmm. I got. I ain't gonna even say a question. This is just a point of view that I'm seeing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're both wrong for fornicating, right?
Absolutely.
But they accept that accountability. And she said, guess what? We were fornicating and we got a result from this fornication. This creation, I need you to take care of it. Well, you know what? I'm going to accept accountability for my fornication with you. And I'm going to go take care of my responsibility because I trust that me and you were on the one fornicating, because that's the way it should be, even though we're doing wrong. Hopefully you ain't doing it with other people.
Mm.
Now I'm going to take your word for this bad thing that we're doing. And you say it's mine. I'm taking your word for it because we are together. We might be married. And I just have no reason to assume that you could have been out here doing something sideways. And you pretty much have been guaranteeing me by the way you carry yourself that you are that type of woman. So I signed those papers because it happens. And then you go find out. That's that man's fault. I mean, you know, we got to think about it. Every man, number one, every woman isn't going to take. Every woman isn't going to take that.
Hold on. One at a time. One at a time, everybody.
Every woman isn't going to accept that DNA test result request, because if he does come out to be yours, then she might start retaliating against you. It's a whole lot of manipulation that is allowed to go on in that. Now, maybe if the DNA test was mandatory, cool. But when you leaving that option up to that man, and that man has been trusting this woman he's in a relationship with, all of a sudden now you don't trust her. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what this is doing, it is enabling women to potentially manipulate the system and men if they choose, and if those men are foolish enough to trust them. See, what we're saying is don't trust nobody. I don't care how long you've been with her. Don't trust nobody. You know? And so see that everybody isn't thinking that way. Because if you're thinking that way the whole time you're in a relationship with a person, then 9 out of 10, you're not in that relationship 100%. We talking about 100% trust in people that relationships.
Let me do this. Let me go to Cassandra. Then Leonard got someone this on as well. But Cassandra, talk to me. Sherelle, I'm coming to you too. I gotta hear your heart too, Sherelle. Go ahead.
This is all about people being dang responsible for their own behaviors. It's a nobody fault if you so stupid that if you don't think that you are in a monogamous relationship, or even if you think you're in a monogamous relationship and you're not married to the person. I'm not talking about the rare exceptions where you got married women sleeping with people getting pregnant. I'm not talking about that. Most of these women that are doing the child support, those are women that are not married. They done slept with 2, 3, 4, 5 men, whatever they do. That's their business. But then instead of the man being responsible enough to say, okay, if you think I'm the father, let's do this. Let's do the DNA test and we can go from there. I mean, that's just, to me, it's common sense for you to get a DNA test if you're not married to that woman and she says she's pregnant and she's trying to take you to child support. The first thing you do is let's keep it real simple. Let's get the DNA test. The DNA test is what, $100, $45, whatever it costs. Go on, get that test, and you save everybody a whole bunch of heartache. I don't care what the situation is. If you're not sure, then you need to do a DNA test. Once she says she's pregnant, do a DNA test. Okay. I mean, this is not rocket science. This is not rocket science.
I understand.
This is being responsible.
And I can't say with what you're saying right now about the DNA. I can't say you're wrong. I can't say that you're wrong because that does make good sense to do that. And so that point is well taken. But at the same time, what if in a situation where it does not happen? And time goes by. Let me go. I know I say go to Leonard, but I'm going to go to Sherelle because she's jumping up and down over there. Sherelle,
before you leave, she said one key word. Mm-hmm. If you aren't sure, you are sure, and you don't know this woman is lying because you trust her, you are sure, you will end up in that situation. That's why the situation exists. Trust. Somewhat people have trust in a relationship. And they were somewhat sure, and that's the reason why it was a surprise that they weren't. She said the key word "if." So everybody would be a fool because somewhere they thought that they were sure they were the father.
Sherelle.
Yeah, I'm listening and working at the same time. So I'm listening.
Okay. Anything on your heart right now?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Leonard, then I'm going to Badger. Leonard?
This whole notion is this trust. Who cares? At the end of the day, you could be wrong on your whole little trust perspective. So you need to take precaution. That's your responsibility. I remember when I used to read stories about how they used to make y'all as they saw fit. You can't make a better decision than them. Why you don't want to take responsibility for your own actions? I don't care who you are, a man or a woman. You can sit around and talk about what ain't right or how you feel and all this, but this is what you did. That's what the issue is. I don't care nothing about your feelings. I don't care how much you trusted her. You knew good and well what y'all was doing when you was doing it. Why you trust her so much in the first place? Who is she? She just somebody out here sleeping around as well. You ain't with her. You don't even live with her. So why you trust her so much? Because she told you? You can't trust yourself. Why you trust her? This laziness. It's this laziness that prevents you from taking care of your business. The moment you get them papers, in that papers, it say that if you want to challenge or anything else, do that. But see, when you was about the biz, you just run around here making babies. You don't care about none of them. oh, she can go get support. That's what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
And when she went to get the support, now they coming after you because you told them you was the dad. That's how it happened. It didn't happen no other way.
I agree with what you're saying, but my thing is, I say it happened, and you touched on this though. You did touch on this. I say it happened when the two people get together and they do the things that they're supposed to do. And like I say, the earnest, I say the earnest has to be on both of them. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, that I put more responsibility on the man than I do the woman.
How?
Because the way a lot of the reasons women are the way they are is because of men.
Wait a minute.
We kept them from voting. We treat it became common practice to treat them less than, and all kinds of stuff. And so many people want to deny it and not look at the history of what's gone on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, but when you go back in history and see what all was done,
Badger, how does she get such a pass, man? There's stories throughout history where both male and I'm not gonna say one is right or one is wrong, but both have done different things throughout history, and it's been proven throughout history. How does one person get a pass and the other don't? You know, in this situation,
well,
both of them.
What is she getting the pass on? Right?
Exactly what he just said. Listen, did you hear what he just said? He said he put more of the responsibility on the man, so she's getting a pass. She don't have no responsibility.
That's not what I said.
But hold on, clarify what you said then, because you said a minute ago, if I heard you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you put more responsibility on the man because of what they've done to the woman throughout history. That's what I heard you say. Now, did you not say that? Did you not say that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's what I said. You said. So what did I say wrong? That's what I said. You said, huh?
Hold on. I view the man as being more responsible than a woman in that situation because a man should have enough willpower and common sense to treat that woman with respect, no matter if she's opening her legs up or not.
Okay. So it's our responsibility to treat her with all this respect, but it ain't her responsibility to have respect for herself.
Well, how else is she going to learn it if that's all she knows?
Wow. So what did he get? What did he learn it from?
Learning how to treat a woman with respect.
Yeah. What did he learn it from? If he had nobody to teach him, where did he learn it from?
That and therefore is what I'm getting at. The issue is everyone wants to have this excuse, blaming one another and not taking personal responsibility in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that woman, all she knows is to open her legs, in my opinion, the man is responsible for treating her with respect and letting her know that that's not okay.
But who's responsible for teaching him that respect and how to respect a woman? If you're giving her a pass and saying that she ain't right, it's not her fault. She was not told, and we as men should know responsibility. Who's teaching us that responsibility to know how to go about and not because she opened up a leg to go up and do the things that grown folk do? Who's teaching a man not to do that?
That'd be awesome because I don't know why men act and behave the way that they do, and it irritates the crap out of me. So it makes no sense on why men want to say it's all the woman's fault and everything else and don't take responsibility for being a man. We're supposed to uplift women, not use them.
Okay, see that. Hold on, let's we can stay right there for a minute because you really lost me with that one. Because you're saying that the man should have all this responsibility and know how to do all the things, but you can't tell me where he's supposed to get it from. But we supposed to go and teach the woman, and that's a lot there. But
get it from their parents and their grandparents of how to treat a woman properly.
Okay,
but
and nobody's
it got lost in time.
Nobody's teaching. So you're saying nobody's teaching a woman how to be a lady and how to respect herself? Nobody's teaching her that.
And nobody's teaching a man how to be a man.
Wow. Woo. Okay. Let me keep it going. Let me go to Donald Tucson. Donald, what's on your heart, brother? Donald?
Let me find this mute button.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these women and men found that they wasn't compatible.
Mm-hmm.
They did the right thing. They got married. They had children and went their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation started to the point where they wanted the man wanted to do the right thing by paying, taking care of his children, but not being with the woman. The thing happens is friends and family get involved and start speaking in the ear and telling them about the system. I wouldn't trust it to do that. You need to put him on child support. So they go to the system, get less than what they would have gotten if they would have just let the man do the right thing. And so they get the administration fees and everything else taken out. First, they got to wait till the process goes through the system for you to get a dime. By that time, you get madder and madder because the man has said, okay, I tried to do the right thing. Since you want to go through the system, you wait till they fix it for you.
Mm.
So time goes where it seems like the man is not doing his part. So what happens is you start bad mouthing it. For the children, because your family in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have just sit down at the table and just talk about how life has hit you face to face, you all got to work out a plan to take care of the child. But we want to do that. See, the laws are not for people that do right. The laws are for people that do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people that do right get caught up in the system.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. Let me do this. I know Sherelle says she got to go to a meeting. Sherelle, are you still with us? Oh, she hung. I was gonna see. Did she have anything she wanted to say before she got out of here? Cassandra, talk to me, sis. Help me out.
You don't want to hear me.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Lord knows.
No. I'm being facetious, but we just got to do better. I mean, I grew up. My children's, my son's father literally never did anything for him. I never badmouthed him in front of my son. Never, ever. And my son is 40-something years old. With all that his father did to me physically and not paying child support all those years, knowing who he was, I never took him to court because I was like, you know what? It's my responsibility. I was a kid. I was young when I had him. I was like, okay, I had this baby. I'm going to work. And I was in high school. I'm going to work after school. I'm going to take care of my son. I'm going to get my little Medicare, whatever they give me to help take care of him. But I never took him to the court system. That was my mistake. Was my mistake. So I always encourage women, get the DNA test. And if he doesn't agree to take care of his child after y'all have done the DNA test, then you go to the court. But you give him that opportunity. Okay, we're going to take this DNA test. That way you're sure this is your child.
Yeah.
And after we're sure that, we come to an arrangement. If you do not want to meet those arrangements, then we need to go to the courts because the child needs to be taken care of. It ain't about you and your feelings because you out there when most times the women are raising the children and the man is out there running around enjoying his life. She working 2-3 jobs trying to just make ends meet and has all the responsibility. How is that fair under any circumstance?
It's not.
It's not.
No. Not at all. Not at all. And like I say, and I don't want people to think that that I'm come across or trying to make it seem like that is fair. It's not. It's not fair. I think that both people have an active responsibility in that child's life, be it financial, emotionally, spiritually, and all in all elements. You know, if that child is in sports, they should be able to look up in the bleachers and see mama and daddy, whether they sit together or not. That child should be able to look up there and see mama and daddy supporting them. When that child is going through something, they should be able to reach out to mama and daddy to help them through the situation. Mama gonna tell them one thing, daddy might tell them something that, you know, a little rough or a little tougher. We're a little stern sometimes. But at the same time, that child should be able to take from what they're being fed, eat the meat and spit out the bone, and go in the right direction. Rico, what do you say to that?
I'm gonna go back and repeat what I said earlier. I agreed with child support when it first came out because I didn't see these other the other dynamics that can come from it. I was from that era where I saw the deadbeat daddies in the Rolling Stones. You know, we had papas that were Rolling Stones. They had children everywhere. Brothers and sisters got the same daddy all over the place. Some of them don't know their brothers and sisters, so they met up later on and hooked up. You know, became a problem. But the thing is, there's a new dynamic that got created, you know, with selfishness and greed. You know, so now I'm hearing pretty much why it's so abused now. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. We have people now saying that the man is stupid for not getting a DNA test out to begin with. Really and truly the whole reason. I'm gonna put it to the way, there should be no confusion about a child's paternity. That whole scenario itself is flawed for a woman that have that problem, to where she's, you know, has to worry about more than one guy being the father of her son. But then let's look at this. This is what I've heard before. Since the men are always taking the blame, you know what I've heard? Even if you don't know the child is yours, but it could potentially be yours, you should step up.
Feed him till he look like you.
I mean, I've seen this on Maury, seen it on plenty of shows. Well, do you think the baby was yours? Well, I knew she was pregnant, but I ain't think it was mine. But you knew it was a possibility. You should have stepped up. Same people that saying it's the dude's fault, he should have got a DNA test. Now they saying he should have stepped up if it was a possibility. Which that somewhat makes sense. If it's a possibility, let me step up just in case, because I don't want to be looking like somebody that didn't take care of their child. So that happened. But you still have the Delilah. So there we are acting like I'm supposed to assume every woman is a Jezebel or a whore. I ain't supposed to trust a damn woman, because really and truly, based off of what I'm hearing right now, I shouldn't trust one woman. All y'all ain't worth 2 cents. I shouldn't trust none of you. All of you Delilahs. Or maybe I should feel comfortable in the person that I meet and think that maybe she isn't manipulating me. You know, but we starting to sound like, you know, to me, that's sort of coming off that, you know, hey, you got to be suspicious of every woman that you lay down with, or every woman that you get in a relationship with, because we got to remember some of these people are in that situation because they were having one night stands or willy-nilly. Like Donald said, some people get together, find out they are compatible. Some people get together and don't realize that the person on the other end, on the opposite side, is conniving, manipulating. You know, they've hid the whore or the dog. You know, is it a woman's fault when she find out that her man is a dog? You know, I mean, somewhere it's the person that is wrong's fault. It's the whore's fault. It's the dog's fault. You know, and you have unsuspecting people on the other side, victims. I mean, I honestly believe there are some women that are victims of deadbeat dads and Rolling Stones, but there are some men out here being, number one, they're being alienated, and number two, they've been taking care of children that aren't theirs because we have been deceived. Deception is real.
Good deal. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your heart? Badger, coming to you next.
Oh, man, I'm just listening because, you know, I was agreeing with what Rico said in the beginning of what he said.
Uh-oh. It took a turn?
I actually meant what I said. Trust no one. Trust no one. Why? Why does it make sense to do that in this situation? I mean, what do you do? Just wait for other people to blame on your mistake? It's your responsibility for who you choose to sleep with, to make sure that they're a decent person. If you don't, you deserve what you get. Why would a whore tell you the truth? And especially if you know you a whore as well. Ain't neither one of y'all committed to nothing but sexual gratification. What reasonable man, rational man would ever think that a woman is that honest?
You got some that do, Leonard. You got some that do, brother. Truth of the matter. You got, and Badge, I know I said I was gonna come to you, but we got a call. Just came in. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Dr. Angela Harris, and I am calling from Atlanta, Georgia. And I just woke up and I seen the show on, and I said, "Oh, I got to be a part of this."
Come on.
I heard some of the conversation.
Talk to me.
This is what I'm gonna say. The problem is that no one is responsible. I'm gonna say a lot of people in this situation, they were never responsible from the beginning, and because of the lack of their responsibility, they end up with a innocent bystander that's tossed and turned in the middle of two adults or people that call themselves adults in age but didn't make an adult decision to make sure that there was not a child made out of, like he said, their gratification, their sexual gratification. The problem is the responsibility piece. When you know as a woman that, you know, you're sleeping around with different people to the place that you end up getting pregnant and you don't know who the child's father is, or even if you're one that in the midst of everything, you know for a fact that that's the only person that you slept with. Evidently, for you to be having these types of issues with a child being brought out of the situation, you didn't even get to know the person in order for that to happen in the first place. A lot of times, we as people, we make rash decisions to feel good, but then we don't make the right decisions to make everything right once, you know, the whole situation blows up and turns to a different situation, like having a baby. But however, what I would like to say about the men, regardless of what your discrepancies are, quit making excuses not to go get a test and get it clarified. And once it's clarified, you need to step up and be responsible, regardless of how the child was made, regardless of how much you don't know this person. Now it's a place that, for the sake of your child, if that's what it comes out to be, in order for that child to have a fair chance at life, you need to put aside all of your ignorance and all of your irresponsibility. And that's for the woman too, not just for the man. And go ahead and be co-parents to this child if it's not something that, you know, or the situation that you're in a relationship with that person. Instead of us continuing to allow for these children to be hurt and them growing up from day one with all the confusion and discrepancies in life, it doesn't give these children a fair chance mentally to grow. And that's not fair. So what I would say is, if you don't want to be in a situation of, obtaining a child out of a situation that's not love, then quit lusting and quit sleeping with people and get to the place that you're just allowing for your seed to go anywhere.
Exactly.
And if it's an accident that happens, like you were both being responsible, the thing is that I don't believe in mistakes. So if it was a situation that something happened when you did do what you were supposed to do, just look at it like everything happens for a reason and still be responsible. We have to do different when it comes to our children. And we have to do different when it comes to our responsibility and accountability factors. When you know that you got into that action of feeling good at that time, then you knew that there was a possibility for something to come out of it. And if you're not ready for that, then, become celibate until you are ready and do things the right way so that you don't have these issues.
Exactly. Hold for 1 second. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Pretty much kind of what she was saying, and that was the point I was trying to get at. Is over time, this blame game between men and women, primarily men, has developed society into what it is now. You know, if people were brought up to be more respectful of themselves and others, and not fall into the system of with the way it is now, we wouldn't have a lot of the issues or needs that we need now, including child support. There'd be a lot less people on it. But no,
Badger, so Badger, you want to take a stance that most of the responsibility falls on the man. That if the man was like he's supposed to be, then the whole world will be better. Is that your stance on it?
Absolutely.
Rico, what do you say to that?
Use the Bible.
To interject.
Okay.
As a woman, I would like to interject, and I would like to interject to say this. Responsibility is not on one level, it's on all levels. And so a lot of these women are allowing for things to happen in their lives. Now, when you're in a relationship with someone and then, you know, he becomes a deadbeat father in the relationship and that's a different situation. You know, if someone just walk away from you and he don't take care of his children, you know, that's a whole nother situation. But if from the very beginning, there was no relationship, it was either an affair that shouldn't have happened, or it was a 1 minute situation or 2 hours, however long it was, you know, just for that situation, it's a responsibility on both parties. And however, as a woman, my only issue with the woman is this. When you decided that you were going to lay with a person and you don't know that person, and then not only do you not know that person, you don't make sure that you're protected in the midst of the whole situation, you're just as much as responsible when it comes to that child having someone in their life that might not want to be there because of whatever issues that they have inside. Do I think that that's okay? No. Anybody that had the, was responsible for making a child is responsible for caring and taking care of the child. However, child support does not do that. Child support still is only a money factor. Time is everything in a child's life. So you can have millions and millions and millions of dollars.
I don't mean to interject, but I'm going to have to hop off for a minute, and I'd like to finish my train of thought so that way I can get to the point I was trying to get to before someone assumes what I was trying to say.
Go ahead, Badger. What's on your heart?
Okay, babe.
Thank you. So what I was trying or attempting to get at is how for hundreds of years, different ways have gotten to where women were less than, they didn't have a say, didn't have a voice, didn't have a vote, and all kinds of things. Now, in this day and age, women are learning they have a voice, they have a right. So yes, they are learning to be just as responsible. But it wouldn't be that situation if it wasn't for the past. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because you know how many people I know that say women are less than because or
so what you're saying, let me get to a place of understanding where you are right now before we move past this. What you're saying is because of the past and all the things that's happened in the past, that women have not had the right to do the things that they want to do or have tried to do or attempted to do, is the responsibility falls on the man. The man has downgraded, mistreated, and did all these things to women for so long that now they're starting to see the light and they're starting to stand up and do the things that they need to do as women. They never knew that before. They never knew right from wrong before.
They weren't really allowed to.
They weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to. Hold on. You're saying they were not allowed to know right from wrong, whether they was able to practice it or not.
No.
You said
no.
what you
Don't
just
twist
said.
my words like that.
No, I did not twist your
Don't
word.
twist my words.
Badger, what you said to me a minute
Women
ago.
may have
Hold
known.
on, hold on, brother. Hold on. What you said to me a minute ago was they were not allowed to. That's the part I heard. Rico, did I hear something wrong? Anybody can step in. Did I heard you say that they were
That's
not
what he
allowed to?
said.
That's what he said, right?
Yeah, he said it, but see, this is what I'm getting from it. This is pretty much what I said earlier. It was the fault of men, the reason why the child support system had to be put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was deadbeat dads, once again, and Rolling Stones. They even wrote songs about Papa's being Rolling Stones. Wherever he left his head was his home. Okay, that's the system. And then child support was put in place to stop these deadbeat dads that weren't spending time or taking care of the children. So now this system has declined into something different. That's what the problem is, what it has declined to, because like I said, there's a pro and a con to everything. But when it declined to become a tool as vengeance, to enforce your will on a man, to punish a man, then it becomes a whole different tactic. You know, I also said earlier, the whole situation when it comes to DNA after the child support, that shouldn't even exist. That goes to show you just the morality that we live in. The atmosphere we live in is garbage. So whether we have to second guess the people that we actually supposed to trust and that we land out with. Number one, we shouldn't be laying down with people that we don't trust and that we are married to.
Mm-hmm.
So now we saying, okay, that's how it goes. You know, that's the atmosphere that we live in. But
all right,
go ahead.
I got one more thing to say, and then I have my physical therapy I got to do.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you a scenario of something that actually happened to me and my wife in real life that we got to sit there and watch happen. This alcoholic man who was abusive, right? His wife got tired of it and left him and went to court to get custody of her kids. That man told me that he was trying to fight for those kids because as a woman, she is unholy because she bleeds each month. She is less than because the Bible said so. That is the mentality that I was talking about, of how many men have that mentality up to today because of history. I am in no way, shape, or form saying that men and women don't have the same amount of responsibility. In this day and age, women are learning to go, no. But due to men creating that thought process, that is why I say men are more responsible in that sense, that they think it is okay to sleep with that woman because she's opening up her legs. A man should be also helping uplift a woman to change the mentality that has been passed down for so many generations that it's sickening.
So what I'm hearing you say, and what I'm hearing you say, and like I say, clarify it, clean it up for me if you don't mind doing so. Woman have no responsibility at all. It all falls on the man. It as dirty, nasty, and conniving as a man is, all the responsibility falls on him.
In the past, a woman would be beat for speaking against a man. Beat, taken out back, whipped, all kinds of really bad stuff for just standing up for herself. So even though she knew right from wrong, she was not allowed to do that in a majority of what's that word? Not community, society. Now she can. She still has to fight for it, but women are learning what they should have known for generations that men tried to keep them from learning. Like in my native culture, women aren't treated like that. If you treat a woman like that, you get in trouble, and I mean bad trouble. But watching it in the other cultures makes me sick to my stomach. I've never seen women more downgraded in my life than by other cultures.
Okay, well, hold on. Stay right there for a second. Let me go to one of the... Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra? Cassandra, you there? Cassandra and that mute button are having a fit this morning. Before we do that, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Bishop?
Good morning. This is Bishop.
Good morning, sir. We're talking about the child support system, or the history of the child support system. And, you know, our conversation have a tendency sometimes to, you know, go different directions. And that's where we are right now. What do you've been listening for a minute? What are you hearing?
Well, I was listening to Badger. I knew exactly where Badger was going with his comment, and he did hold both parties responsible. The system was put in place by Gerald Ford the way it is, according to the federal government in 1975. And then they had too many loopholes in it, so they revised it in 1993. So this is where it comes from. But what Badger is saying, historically, the women were just objects. Today, they're not objects. They're individuals, and they need to be recognized and respected. So when it comes down to having a child, and we don't, you know, you call someone, call them oops, you met at a club, you got the girl pregnant, you really don't know the girl. And then you're like, oh, I ain't studying her, you on about your business. But it's determined that you are the father. So you should have a moral obligation and responsibility to take care of that child. You don't have to be in a relationship with the woman, but you have a moral obligation and responsibility. The federal government should not make any man pay child support. The only thing that needs to be established is, first of all, I'm not married to you. Are you sure it's mine? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do a DNA. And then once we do a DNA, then I will feel comfortable taking care of this child. So, you know, you got all kinds of loopholes because the girl, I hate to say it, but she'll sleep with one guy, and then she'll leave him to go sleep with another guy on the same night, or maybe during the following week. So that's what, you know, you really have to be careful. But that's exactly what Badger was actually going when he referred to the Bible historically. Women are to be seen and not heard. In fact, being one scripture say, if you want to know anything, you ask your husband. Oh, I mean, you can't ask the question in a religious setup. But today, it ain't like that. So kudos to Badger when he was trying to explain it, and he made it very plain. He quoted the scripture. So,
y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.
All right, you too, brother. Rico.
Once again, goes back to a pro and a con. You know, everything has a domino effect. When you create something, then something else begets from that. You know, it comes from that. Something's created an offspring. So now, let's talk about history. You probably didn't have too much paternity confusion in the past. If the men were beating the women, I'm pretty sure they were making sure that them women weren't going to be sleeping around, going from plantation to plantation, sleeping around. They probably had full control. They already knew, guess what? This baby mine. I know this baby mine because if she went and slept with somebody else, I'll kill her. So that atmosphere didn't exist back then for women to be whores and Jezebel. They were raped. Don't get me wrong, they were raped and they were forced, but probably they were forced by that one man. That paternity confusion probably wasn't a big deal back then unless the slave master was going back behind the slave's wife doing what he did. And you knew when the child came up that it was mixed or whatever. But see, we have to look at the loopholes that were created after that atmosphere change. It got to a point where men couldn't do women like that anymore. Women had free reign of choice to do what they wanted to do. Feminism came around and said, hey, we can walk around. We want to take our shirts off and walk around with our breasts out like y'all walk around. You know, and so somewhere they said, well, you know what? We got to make rights for women and also to protect these children. Once again, like I said, I look at the child and the biggest issue with this child support thing, making sure they get the payment, money, or get taken care of the way they should. But now we have a situation where the atmosphere is that every child that comes into this world now, there may be a problem about who they are, who the father is. So now we want to put responsibility on the man, but now the man, there's a double standard right here. Either the man is going to take care of the child, even though he feels like it isn't his, but it potentially could be his, or he's going to doubt it from the very beginning and wait till he gets a test before he takes care of the child.
Exactly. Toussaint, you had
I'm gonna mention this about the filing though. See, now you go
Mhm.
file, a woman could put you on child support, go to file, put you on child support, but they can't find you.
Mm-hmm.
Your address, guess who's gonna be the father? Maybe you would have fought it. Maybe you didn't know she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
we have to realize there are so many different scenarios that could go on with it that it's really hard to just place blame on the father or the mother. The thing is to make sure the best benefit for the child, making sure that the number one support is going toward the child, and number two, that the child is being supported by who their father really is.
Exactly. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
And listen at these conversations, and it can't be thought of just one way because there's so many different scenarios. Because some have found out because they have been neglected for so long, and they start being informed of what they can do. What they do with the system is manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
And see, because there are some, check this out, they get their income tax, they get every one of their babies' income tax,
Mm-hmm.
and the child's nose still snotty.
Yep. Ain't nobody wiping the child
Ain't that
nose.
so?
Nobody wiping the child nose.
Ain't nobody.
Child
No,
needs
he ain't learning nothing.
Mm-hmm. Clothes dirty.
His food is, his clothes is dirty,
Mm-hmm.
and his feet are almost touching the floor.
Yep. Exactly.
Because he got raggedy shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But her nails are done.
Mm-hmm.
The daddy is still the player.
She looking like he stepped out of the center out of the middle of a jet centerfold.
Centerfold, yeah. But they fix you some cornflakes.
Mm-hmm.
But she's out at the buffet at the seafood restaurant,
mm-hmm.
eating crab legs and crab feet and oysters.
Did you say crab feet?
She's just having a good time. Oh yeah, man, she's doing it big. Okay. You watch. Okay. Check the internet between now and the 15th of April.
Yes, sir. It's gonna be a mess.
You see how party, and it's just gonna be a child. I got you. Your hair ain't that long.
Mm-hmm. Your hair was long, and now it's short. You say I got it cut. Well, I don't see no hair on the floor. That's old Alexander O'Neal. Fake. Bitch, what's on your heart?
Did you just try to say?
And I don't see no hair on the floor.
You did, Bishop.
He tried to put a Michael Jackson touch to it at the end. You heard?
Yes, sir.
Put him in the corner. Get over that corner, bro.
Uh-oh.
Hey! Yeah, and when I go, hey, Donald, when you and I go to thing, he wants to just shut us down. Ain't that a load of something?
The mute button.
Yeah, it's the mute button. Hey, but you know what? I'm gonna say something. As Donald was talking, I was sitting there listening. My mind started thinking about. I looked at Lauren Lake paternity test, and she had been on there, and she was trying to find out if this guy was the father, and but yet she was getting 2 checks from two different men. Yeah. So you know when it came back, and she did have the other guy there too, and they took the test with both of them to ascertain who is the father. And when the result came in, neither man was the father. So, wait a minute now. You want me to pay child support for a child that you said mine? You hit this dude up, so you getting 2 checks a month, 2 different men, but you ain't thought about the third one, and the third one may be the father, but these 2 ain't. But you know, seriously, man, you know, we don't want to take anything for granted. You laid with the lady. She come back and say she's pregnant, then in all respects, do the right thing. DNA and child support. Even in marriages, I know a couple, the guy and the wife didn't get along, so he's trying to make the wife suffer and the children. So he's not stepping up to the plate to do what he needs to do for the family. And all I can tell him, I say, hey, that's why the court's in place. You know he's the father. He knows he's the father, but arrogance, pride, or ignorance has taken root, and he won't do the right thing. And so, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the last thing I'll go with on this, there's a guy that came to visit America, and he had a one night stand with a girl. 30 years later, he opened his country, and he come back because he found out he got a child. And that child became a prince.
This dude talking about coming to America.
Coming to America too.
This dude talking about coming to America. Lord, my Jesus, look at that. Rico, this dude done through coming to America now. Okay, look here. Somehow we got sidetracked. Now he talking about coming to America. Now we're doing a movie review. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I just like what Bishop said earlier about the loophole. When Gerald Ford came up with the program at first and how many loopholes it had in it. And my thing is that it still has loopholes and they haven't fixed it. And those loopholes that they have in it are very dangerous. We still got a lot of, like I said, this generation of children now, I'm going to say between 21 and 28, they mad. Mama played with their money. And mama told them daddy wasn't paying child support, but daddy was paying child support. I know a young man right now, actually, he's my son's cousin. I talked to him about a year ago. He was over to my house and he was telling me about a situation that he never forgot when he was young. And it was a night that his mom went out to the club and came home with a lucky dope dealer. Another one. She had, she never had a problem coming home with a man from the club. And just so happened this night, this boy looked up to this man because, sometimes in the hood, when you get to hearing about the local street legend, when you hear that name, you sort of think that, they somebody you should look up to.
You see that, Rico?
Oh, okay. Let me see. Take it for a minute. Okay, I got you. So, in this situation, the boy was telling me about one morning he got up. You know how it is on a Saturday morning or whatever, a Sunday morning when you young, 7, 8, 9 years old, you get up early in the morning. You can't wait till daylight so you get up and go out and about. And he saw his mom and now cooking breakfast, full course breakfast, steak, eggs. He thinking to himself, man, I ain't had no breakfast like this in a while. Mama must be in a good mood. So he go to fixing him a plate. And she tell him, you better fix you some noodles or a bowl of cereal or something. So he's like, what? There's some noodles or a bowl of cereal. I said, Mama, you cooking? Why I gotta eat noodles? This ain't for you. This is for him. Now this woman get child support for this boy, And so I bring up that story because, like I said, there's another loophole that should be fixed. We got a generation full of young men and women right now that look back and say, you know what, my mama blew that money. They didn't give me the money that I should have. I did without not realizing that I should have had. I should have been able to pay extracurricular activity. I shouldn't have been walking around with shoes too small. But mama was buying weed, or she was buying hair, buying nails, or she was taking care of some dude just to make sure she had a man coming around. So there's an environment, an atmosphere that's been created. Like Donald said, that environment that has been created is turned into an entirely different monster. And so now we have to ask ourselves, how much effort are we going to make to go in and fill up those loopholes again? Cut those loopholes off that are in place to protect the next few generations, because there's nothing been done about it. They haven't come out with a card yet that forbids women from spending that money in the wrong place. There's a lot of children still running around here with the proper finances being paid in, but they're not getting them. And then you got some that's actually getting the finances paid in, but they still can't see their dad, and they want to see the dad.
Yeah.
But they can't see it. Parental alienation. There's a whole different domino effect that came about from this, but the entire system started out from immoral behavior. Like I said, if a man took care of his children and if and people didn't sleep around, they actually slept together to create life the way they were supposed to, we wouldn't have this situation.
Exactly, exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother. Tucson, you there?
You know, the tip, yeah. It's about those, and yeah. Sometimes we call people deadbeats, and they're actually not. They just got involved with a crazy person.
Yeah.
Two crazy people. I'm just using the crazy people. People that don't know how to communicate with each other. Got together and had a child. And the drama started from there. And there we go. With a system that has loopholes, that had some kind of right intentions, but no matter what you try to do to help a person out, there's going to be somebody that comes along that's going to try to see how they can manipulate that system.
Yep.
And if you don't revise that system or that process along the way to handle it case by case, you're gonna always have a problem.
And I'm going back to something we talked about. Going back, Leonard, to something. I'm sorry, Donald, to something we talked about.
That's right.
About midway of the broadcast, about a man that's doing everything he could do, paying like he's supposed to. He's current, but still, she would not allow him or try to fight against him seeing his child. I mean, what
it happens every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here's a man that and let's say he's in the military. Let's say he's in the military, and every once in a while he has to get deployed, and he's not able to see his child as much as he would like to.
Yeah.
While he's going out, she's doing her own thing. So when he comes back and finds out that she's doing her own thing, he decides he want to go his own way.
Yep. The glove don't fit the same.
It don't fit. So here you go, and here's the child. He wants to have some sort of a relationship with the child. But then in being in the military, he gets an opportunity to meet somebody even that will treat him and his money right. Because when you get deployed, you got to have somebody to treat your money right.
Yes, sir.
And your child. Because there's no sense in being deployed for 6 to 11 months or a year, and when you come back, you broke.
Yeah.
That happens. I know that personally. That happens. Now, don't the man better not find somebody that will treat his money and his child better than the mama. She gonna do all she possibly can to stop him when he does come from seeing that child.
Exactly. Bishop, what's on your heart, man? What do you say to that man? He's current, up to date, don't owe a dime, but she still want to fight against him seeing his children. Bishop, what do you say to that?
Well, that's when you need to get yourself an attorney and fight for joint custody. You doing everything you need to do, but she's upset for whatever reason, don't want to give you the right or the privilege to even connect with your own child. Again, that falls in line with being selfish, ignorant, and arrogant. So if you can use law for you, and I feel like if I was the person that was going with something like that, then I'd use the law for me. And you got a lot of scorned women
Yeah.
Who wants more out of a relationship, but they don't know how to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the crazy part. So the reason y'all was going your way is because there's something about you that just completely turned them off. Maybe the way you fuss at him all the time, like, try to bully him. So sometimes women can be like that. They'll try to bully the man.
Yep.
And the man turn around, get the crap out of spirit. I understood all I can stand. I can't stand no more. I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now I guess who's suffering? Not who's suffering. A little child.
Exactly. Rico, what happened if y'all decided to go separate ways? And though y'all have kids together, you paying your child support like you're supposed to go. The court say you're supposed to, but not only that, you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. You want to help take care of your children and make sure that they have the things that they have. She get with this other buster, and you just his biological. You ain't his daddy. That's his daddy right there. That's the one that's here with him every day. That's the one that's teaching him how to play baseball and basketball and going to his games and stuff. You don't do none of those things, Rico. That she might as well just reach in your chest and pull your heart out, man. Saying some foolishness.
If you aren't taking the opportunity to do it or making an effort to do that, now I can agree with that. Sometimes I have to step that. Listen, sometimes the mama is the worst bully, and sometimes the dad is the most neglectful. So you got to have a parent. It's just plain and simple. That's the atmosphere. It's more prevalent today. We see it. It's abundant. We see it left and right. Mamas that tank their children, bully their children, and fathers that, do the same thing, neglect them more than anything. So you have to have an alternate or a surrogate come in and But the thing is like I said, my thing is the child. The child loses in this more than anything. And what I'm finding out in this system, like with DHF or DCF or whatever, everybody state has different name for it. They really don't protect the child's rights as much as the mother or the custodial parent. Now I'm seeing parental alienation become a major issue. Now, we can let people know that they do have rights. Just because you sign that birth certificate don't mean nothing, though. We got to understand and go in depth about this. It's not going to be easy. If you get in a situation where you are the custodial parent and you are trying to get parental rights, if you don't have a DNA test, you're going to have to get a DNA test first. Then when you get the DNA test, you still got to be able to afford an attorney to pay, not for you to have a right to see your child, but for your child to have a right to see you. And that ain't right. That ain't right. The state can go in and represent a woman on behalf of that child to take something from a man's pocket. Why can't the state represent that child against his mother to have access to his father? Why is it still got to come out the most? See, we don't have state representation. A woman can go put you on child support. She ain't got to go find no attorney. Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about how enabled it is. Anytime you get put on child support, the state is against Mr. So-and-so. And Mr. So-and-so better have his pockets right. Whatever it is, it's a loss. He ain't getting none of that money back, whether the child heals or not. He ain't getting none of that money back. So now he's extra, going to his savings or whatever, to go to court to not only have a right to be a father to his child, but for his child to have a right to have access to their daddy. It's some flaws. So we could point the finger all day long. But it's time to stop pointing the fingers and still go back and look at the system and correct it. Because both people are at fault depending on the scenario. Both people can be at fault. Both people can be in the wrong. Some parents alienating the child from the other parent, and some parents aren't even trying to get involved.
Yeah. And this person here from let me see, Tony in Play. I think the name Tony in Play. It says, I don't think you should have to pay child support if you aren't seeing the child. I don't think he said, I don't think you should pay child support if you aren't seeing the child. Bishop, what do you say to that? Bishop, you there? I'm about to say it to you.
Yeah,
Bishop.
Man. Repeat that question, man. I was trying to unmute my phone when you called it.
It said, I don't think you should have to pay child support if you aren't seeing the child.
Oh, No, man, that's the moral obligation, responsibility you still have. But whenever you get a moment to converse with that child, you have to tell that child, I tried to spend time with you. I did such and such as your mama. But you still should just do the right thing. That child shouldn't suffer because the mama is just whatever parent is, because the father can have custody too. And for whatever reason, they just want to be stuck on stupid and not let you see your child. But I'm not gonna give anybody an out if they don't get an opportunity to see or visit with their child. And you don't see them, so technically it ain't yours. No, it's still yours. If there's been evidence and proof through a DNA system that he or she is your child, that's yours. Don't deprive them. And then you can also, send them a card to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you, love you, happy birthday, whatever the case may be. And you just go to the system, man, and go to the courts and fight it. Don't not take care of the child. Yeah. I can't sign off on that one.
Okay.
Let me ask a question. What if you're paying on time, you want to see the child, she won't let you see him, and on top of that, she ain't spending the money on the child the way she wants to. So now that child running around here with too small clothes or too small shoes, no haircut, no toothbrush. Would you continue paying then?
Don't answer that.
Here's what I would do.
Rico.
Keep doing the right thing. And when that child grows up, because these children grow up, give them about 17, 18 years, they'll come to you. If you do the right thing, I'm like Bishop. I don't care if you don't let me see him or not. That's my child. I should want to do the right thing. Even if you say, you can't see him. I'm going to show up. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to go to there's laws that protect me. Then I'm going to go to them and say, okay, I want joint custody. Or we're going to have to split this if it's just holidays or every other weekend or what. But I'm going to have to develop a relationship regardless to what that drama you're talking about, because I don't have time for that. That's a waste of time because that's my child. So that is kind of a cop-out when we say they won't let me. Yeah. There's no such thing as they won't let you. That's what you allow. Okay. Because you can step in and all you got to do is show up at the house and don't start no drama. You tripping because there's another man in the house. Don't worry about that. You ain't got nothing to do with that. If you're there for the child, you're going to be there for the child whether or not she got another man or not.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that.
Tony in play said, not if the mom has had 18 years to brainwash the child. See the chat and what they're saying. And Tony, if you get an opportunity, give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Tony, I believe you get the pen. You got your pen now? 678-381-1973. Go ahead, Rico.
Tony knocking it out the park too, because either Tony is seeing it or he experienced that. Like I said, once again, a man can be paying that child support, but that mother could be saying he ain't sending it. Smoking it off or going to the casino or whatever she want to do with it. And that just showing up at the house thing. Listen, I live in Alabama. I got a son that live in Florida. I count on one hand how many times I done seen him in the past 2 years. I send him telephones. His mom take the phone, get rid of it, say she don't know what happened to it. They'll tear it up. You get what I'm saying? Right now, I don't have address for it. So what I decided to do, I said, well, you know what? I ain't gonna send no child support for the next couple of months. The money that I'm sending for child support, I'm getting an attorney. See, at first I was trying to do it myself because see, that money that you pay for child support, sometimes it really could be money that you could use towards going ahead and getting custody or whatever. But maybe you can't afford that attorney. See, they ain't got to pay for an attorney. Like I said, the state covering it. But you got to come up out your pocket with that paper. And it ain't cheap. They want like $2 grand, $2,500 to file some papers. You know what I'm saying? And now this is the funny part about it. You could file them yourself and just go up there and pay the filing fee. But the language in them, you know, they so precise. You got to be so precise on doing it right that you want to make sure that it's done the correct way. So now you can either do it and spend maybe $150, $200 filing it yourself, and then paying a $300 child support, or you can spend $2,500. But see, you can't really say that $2,500 paying for your bills, then paying that child support that this mama might be telling that child you ain't paying. So now, when I do get this done, they got to serve her. They got to go through all their little means or whatever they have to serve her. And until they answer, I gotta wait again. But the thing is, when you say that just because you on a birth certificate, all you got to do is show up. Look, I bought myself back here from Florida 1 year. I came back, bought him back. He stayed 2 weeks with me. That monster got mad at me. Now, this is what's funny, because I let him talk to her every day. But I don't get to talk to him but maybe once a year. She won't even let him use her phone to call me. But this phone, like I said, she take him and throw him away and tear him up. So, okay. He's up here having a good time, spending time with his daddy. We happy as a lark. She get mad because I let him go with my dad, call the police, and tell him that I am not supposed to have him up here in Alabama when I got him from her. And they sent the police to my house, and the police took my son from me.
Wow.
From Florida, they called Alabama's police up here in Anderson, and they came to my house and took my son out of that house, man. He crying. He get away from her manipulation, her abuse of the system to get her way. Oh, it's a lot of that going on. So, you know, like somebody said earlier, there are so many different scenarios. We can't be sitting up there talking about what is a man's fault for not being able to see his child. We can't say that, because some women make just as much effort and by the government just as much to make sure you can't see him. And like the guy that sent the comment in, Tony, like he said, what about the 18 years of manipulation and brain programming? And what she done told that child? She might tell that child, you know what? I took you from your daddy because I walked in on your daddy and caught him touching you. But you ain't touched that child.
Yeah.
You know, made you a molester and a monster. Then all of a sudden, I took care of you the way I was supposed to, but now my truth is that you touched me when I was a baby. Prove you didn't. That easy. It ain't that easy. We ain't got no answers. The only thing I can tell people, man, it's gonna be a fight. They got too many loopholes in the system. I'm in it now. Speaking from experience, like I said, I haven't seen my son again. It's been 2 years, and I'm hoping when I go down there this week that she won't say that he can't come see me. Call Tuesday and go down now once again, and this might be like my 4th trip going to Jacksonville, Florida to see my son, and then I don't get to see him because she don't want to answer the phone and show up, and I don't have address, and I don't have.
See, and that's the thing right there that I'm talking about. The system, man. The history of the child support system. Situations like this, man, Bishop, should never happen. Situations like this should never happen. Toussaint, coming to you next. Bishop, talk to me.
No, stuff like that should never happen, but it does. And you know, you have compassion when you run into a situation like that, when you see and realize the one who's suffering the most is the child. That's why be careful who you lay down with, because sometimes you can lay down with some one night hookup, and they know you got 18 years of suffering and misery because this person is not doing right. They're not doing right to the father. They're not doing right to the child or children. So you got to really be careful. But as I was listening to Rico, and I reflect on my answers to the question that you had asked, and for me, it's just right to do right. And the Bible just remind me, you know, for me to do right in spite of the situation, and then God will take care of the rest in judgment. But you also have a system in place, and I know it seems like they care less about the man.
They do.
But you get yourself there and you use the system to your advantage, and you show, hey, here's proof. This is what I pay every month, comes out my check. But the child's not being taken care of. The child is being neglected. The child is being taught to hate me. And at some point, this same government that makes me pay for this child needs to help me so I can help raise my child. And that's where you run it. That's how you do it.
Exactly. Toussaint, talk to me.
I keep receipts. Document things because, if you time, and I know it's hard sometimes if you've been frustrated for all these years and they've been bad mouthing you, throwing your name out there and lying on you and doing that stuff. But I believe that I don't know, it's been proven. If you do right gonna always come out on top.
Come on.
It might take a while. They may get away with it for a while, but sooner or later, somebody gonna say, boy, you know what? That's a doggone shame. Let me tell that child the truth of what happened. Even if it's the mama, the grandmother, say, baby, let me tell you something. Your daddy did all he possibly can. And you'll find out that child gonna be mad for another 2-3 years. Because he ain't gonna never understand the suffering period of being manipulated. But sooner or later, it turns out that somebody will come forward and just tell the truth. But if you just do right, it'll come out. I believe it will. At least I believe it will.
Baby, your daddy ain't bad as they say here, baby. Now, I seen your daddy try to do some good things for you, baby. And I just want to let you know, now, your daddy ain't as bad as your mama make him out. Now, I know that's my daughter. But I'm going to tell you something. She ain't right this time. You make your way over there. As a matter of fact, this weekend, me and you going to go fishing. We ain't going fishing for real. We're going to see your daddy. Now, what happened, Rico? It was somebody in the family step up and took that stance.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes that happens, and then sometimes that person in the family, they get bored from seeing their child. Now, my son's grandmother is she had to side with the mother and go along with some of that dysfunction, so she have access taken from her. So you can't go against her sometimes because you already know that if I go against her, she'll push back from me. I won't see him. She won't let me come around. Spiteful and nasty, And so, like I said, I don't want people to look at it like, oh, man, that's messed up what Rico going through. Because guess what? My son is the one suffering the most. And I'm gonna give you the mindset of it because, see, I think most of the people that commented on it, we want to put blame on people. The situation is this. Regardless of if the man was wrong, if the woman was wrong, if the man was stupid and the woman was a whore, it don't matter. It's the children, the result that it impacts the most. The key word on child support is child.
Yeah. The
child is impacted the most. And so it gets to a point to where you got to say for yourself, well, who's fighting for the child? If that doing right and the mama ain't doing right by the money or doing right by that child, who can that child turn to? Others are doing right and the mama ain't doing right, who can that child turn to? What if she is getting a child support order? What if he is going to jail and getting his license suspended? Who's still taking that child to teach the child how to tie his shoes, how to bathe, brush his teeth right, his or her? So, I mean, the child is the biggest loser in this, man. And then I think that's what we have to try to start looking at. How is it that we can best protect the child, not protecting the other parent? I think that's the reason why the legislation has so many loopholes, because they didn't really look at who was impacted the most. So I'm going to give you this example. I'm going to go back to me with my situation. My baby mama got on the phone a couple of weeks ago. No, she didn't get on the phone. She got on Instagram because that's the only way I can communicate with him now. He had to sneak in Instagram me. So we messaged on Instagram. He told me that her baby dad or boyfriend called him a bitch. Because she called him one when I was on the phone with him one day. And I'm like, wait a minute. You don't do that to him. Why you call your son something like that?
Yeah.
So I started telling him, well, look, man, you got telephone numbers. The next time she tell you to get out or to call me, she'll tell him, call your dad and tell him to come get you, knowing I'm 5.5 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And take him to get here. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Then she won't even let him use the phone. So then she got on the message and she went to going back and forth. And I told her, I said, well, look, we're going to solve this problem. You've been getting away with this too long, but I ain't sending you no more child support. I'm retaining a lawyer. When you get served, we'll get the DNA test and then I get my parental rights. Guess what she told me after 13 years?
What's that?
I hope he ain't yours. I didn't expect that. But see, this is what the problem is. She thought it was going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Fool, yeah, it might bother me, but how is he going to feel?
Mm-hmm.
But if you lied to him for 13 years and he been loving me, loving my family, yearning for me, crying for me, now all of a sudden, just like with your daughter that I found out 2 years ago that ain't mine, you ready to go through that again? Screw him. You just want to win. I hope he ain't yours. But what about he gonna feel?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking about the children.
Mm-hmm.
We calling the men stupid and calling the women whores and saying who responsible and who ain't responsible. The child has to be taken care of and get taken out of this atmosphere because it's going in it's declining. It's really tearing up our community. This behavior going on is creating another behavior of manipulation and opportunism. And it's not doing any better from it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And see, some situations, man, is real hard, if not, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's difficult to bounce back from, man. It's some situations is real difficult to bounce back from because think about the child mind is not as advanced as ours, and they don't rationally reason and think things through like we would do.
They ain't trying to pick and choose. They ain't trying to pick between parents.
No. So that's what most of the harm is coming from. Bishop, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, I'm telling you, listen to Rico's story and knowing some of these same situations personally with family members, I just keep them encouraged. I say, hey, man, I'm going to keep saying the same thing. Just do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow her ignorance to cause you to act ignorant. Because if she's ignorant, you ignorant, you ain't got number two ignorant individuals standing in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, these poor children really suffer because of the divide that has been wedged between one parent and the child with negative annotations or comments.
Exactly.
So, I'll just tell you, hey, if you run into a situation and you're paying child support, keep documentation that you're paying so that you can present it to the child because mama ain't going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, let the child know I was there for you. Your mom kept me from visiting you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. I've done it several times. And sometimes you may just have to pop up and say, hey, can I see my son? You don't see him come around here. They know well. And may call the restraining order. I don't know. But it's really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It really is crazy. But that we see it every day in our world.
Exactly.
But you know what? Men are in a dilemma though, because say they do go ahead and pay that money, and then all of a sudden they take the woman to court to get the parental rights, and they take the DNA test, and the child don't come out to be his. Then he was a fool again.
That money was just gone. That money's just gone.
He ain't getting it back.
No. And Donald, talk to me, brother, before we get out of here.
No, this is a well first conversation that I think we need to reevaluate, and the system needs to be revised to case by case.
Yes, sir.
It will address different matters because we can point the finger if we want to, but pointing the finger, like Rico says, won't help that child. Exactly. At all.
We are about to get out of here. I'm gonna play this quick little clip before we get out of here, and then this is something that we got coming up on back up as you were, March the 27th. March the 27th. This is what we're doing. March the 27th. Lyrical red zone. Lyrical red zone. If you're an artist and you want to highlight and showcase your talent, you need to get in contact with us. Send me an email. Send me an email to DKM Media Group 1, DKM Media Group 1, the number 1 at gmail.com. If you want to be highlighted, we're doing it's going to be like our own Soul Train type show. We're going to let you get up there, perform. We're going to interview you and present you and your talents before 58 countries, video wise. So lyrical red zone, lyrical red zone is where if you are an artist, you need to be. We're trying to get Rico come up there and break out his horn and do a little something for us. I interviewed that brother, let him play a little something for him. I'm trying to get him out. I think it's working too. I think it's working. Is it working, Rico?
Man, the way these teeth going, I ain't gonna be playing no horn. I might have to get my dad to come play.
There you go. Like
hey Rico.
Mm-hmm.
On March 20th now, he's gonna have that little mass that he's gonna be having at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that you were gonna be singing.
We going to say they're gonna sing the lip sync competition.
Okay, yeah, he said he was singing. I can't sing.
He the one talking about. He called me and said, "Man, Rico gonna be singing."
Look here.
I'm like, what's
Rico.
What's trying to say?
Rico. Lie don't care who tell it, as long as it get told.
Boy, you better get out of here.
Lie don't care who tell it, as long as it get told. As long as it get told.
Donald, did he tell you that, Donald?
Look here. Then watch this. Let me see if Donald going to assist if Donald going to be accessory to this crime that's being committed right now. See, Don ain't even say nothing. See, Don ain't gonna be no accessory to that crime.
No. I was waiting for you to break out into the song. Let's do a quartet right quick.
Go ahead.
Rico, you ready? Rico, you ready?
What song you gonna sing, man?
None. Not now.
Hey, we gonna have to. Hey, how about this? If we get together and we do something by the Spinners or Barcades or Gap.
Yeah, we can do that.
The OJ.
Yes, sir.
OJ.
Yeah. We can do OJ. Yeah. Because my thing.
Let's get together and we're gonna do something.
Yeah, man. Again, on the 20th. So y'all and everybody, make sure you come by the studio on the 20th because we're having a DKM appreciation day. We're gonna have lip sync. It's gonna be a nice. We have now. I'm gonna tell you something. Now I got to tell you, don't come here looking for no gospel music.
I'm coming looking for some food. So I hope you have food there.
Yeah, gonna be some food. Yeah, some food gonna be here now. We're gonna have some food, but we're gonna have a microphone too, so everybody get up there and do their lip sync. I'm gonna start out with some James Brown. Brother Brown. What we're gonna do? Yeah, the dip of the mind. Give me some of that bass.
Shirley Temple too?
Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
You gonna do that song by Shirley Temple?
Who?
No, you know, tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh Lord. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, man? Cause I don't know where they going right now.
If you missed today's show and would like to see it or listen to it in its entirety, you can tune in to www.dkmmediagroup.com or DKM 1.1 on Facebook at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in its entirety.
Good deal. Hey, Donald, Toussaint, pray us out, brother.
Okay. God, we come now. And we say thank you. We give you glory, honor, and praise always because you're the great God, the King that gives us another opportunity to just have life and life more abundantly because of you. So, God, as we come reasoning together, we pray that something was said or done that will edify your people according to your will and your way. Bless us as we go through this day. Continue to allow us to let our light shine, that men see some good works, but you get glory. That's our prayer in Jesus' name before I say.
Amen. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the morning glow. But before we do that, I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and the Associates and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. You'll have a great day. Take an opportunity, if you don't mind, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Love you. Have a great day.